Good evening and welcome to the April 22nd, 2025 Gloucester City Council meeting. This public meeting of the Gloucester City Council is recorded on Zoom with a link that is posted on the agenda. If you are calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you are watching on a computer or device, there is a raised hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options during oral communications and public hearings to be recognized. Good. There we go. If technical difficulties arise, and the Zoom link is interrupted during an in-person hybrid meeting of the City Council and a quorum is present, the meeting may continue after efforts have been made to reestablish the link. The minutes shall note the interruption. It is the finding of the City of Gloucester that no individual should be denied equal treatment or opportunity because of their age, ancestry, color, disability, including intellectual and developmental, mental disability, family status, immigration status, gender identity or expression, military status, marital status, national origin, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. Tonight, joining us on the City Council is Dylan Benson, Ward 2 City Councilor, Valerie Gilman, Councilor at Large, Frank Majota, Ward 4 City Councilor, Scott Memard, Ward 1 City Councilor, Marjorie Grace, Ward 3 City Councilor, Jason Grove, Councilor at Large, and Vice President of the City Council, Sean Nolan, Ward 5, and I'm Tony Gross, the City Council President. And do we know who that is? No. All right, we're good. All right, we also have here representing the city is Mayor Verga, CFO Connor McCorkle, City Legal Suzanne Egan, our Public Health Director Dominique Hurley, Auditor Kenny Costa is remote. We have Chelsea Goldstein Walsh from the Board of Health. We have David Tucker from the Board of Health. We have Joe Rosa, the Chairman of the Board of Health. And we have the DPW Director, Mike Hale, is also remote. And we have our City Clerk next to me, Grace Poirier. And we have the Building Commissioner is also here, Rob Vicari. If you would all like to join me in the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Oral communications.
Public shall have the opportunity at every regularly scheduled meeting to be heard under oral communications on matters not appearing on the agenda. Oral communication shall allow any resident and/or property owner and/or business owner who has a request or complaint of any nature relative to city business to appear before the council, make their statement without debate, and the City Council will refer matters to the office of the mayor. Person speaking under oral communication shall be limited to 3 minutes each. And Councilor Worthley, Councilor at Large, has also joined us. Anyone in the audience? Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Mary Ann Albert Boucher, 93 Mount Pleasant Avenue. I'd like to start by thanking Mayor Verga, Ward 1 Councilor Scott Memhard, and DPW Director Michael Hale for a very productive Zoom meeting last Wednesday. How ironic that I am here this evening to speak about open space and its importance, today being Earth Day 2025. Today, most of the remaining walls were torn down at the East Gloucester School site. Listening to the children speak at the future of the East Gloucester Schools site meeting some time ago brought with it many emotions. Before the meeting began, I looked around in the crowded room and saw so many familiar faces, some who went to EGS, live near EGS, and those who brought their kids and even grandchildren to the playground. Some were there because that's where life lessons were learned, where lifelong friendships develop. As we all listened to the children speak, they talked about wildlife, what they loved about their playground, and the wooded area around it. They spoke from the heart. You could feel the attachment to a place that brought them closer to nature, relieved some of their stresses and worries, and gave them a place to call their own. They spoke of play, imagination, and the excitement of seeing deer, rabbits, and more. In a world of so much development and uncertainty, this is their sanctuary. This is exactly what the deed-restricted Parsons Playground next to the school site was intended for, children's play. These children were not asking for anything extravagant. All they wanted was to retain the place that they love and that their families love. They want to protect wildlife and nature. They want a space where their imaginations are allowed to soar without instruction. Will there be some sort of playing field? I don't know what the end result will be, but there's been a lot of discussion and certainly a lot of rumors. I do know that we need to listen to our youth. Take a moment and remember when you were little. The years may move forward, but children will always be magnetically drawn to nature. It is ingrained in the human soul. As I walked out of the meeting with many of all ages, I realized that while years have gone by, nothing else really changed when it comes to our outdoor play. The desire for play, for nature, for a place to be a kid has remained the same. Our schools and our city right now are facing some real challenges with our youth, so much so that the O'Malley Library was filled to capacity just a week ago with concerned parents, teachers, and even city leaders. In my humble opinion, we need more open space, more than ever. I am here tonight to request that the current site, known as the East Gloucester property and the adjacent Lieutenant Arthur Maxwell Parsons Playground, be included as preserved and protected land in perpetuity in the new comprehensive plan. One more sentence. I am grateful that the portion of the Maxwell Parsons Playground is being returned to its original purpose, open space, but let us also make sure that these two pieces of property are not subject to a land loss in the future. Our children deserve our support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Marianne. Anyone else in the room, in the auditorium who'd like to speak at oral communications? I don't see any raised hands online. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Presentations and commendations. A commendation to be issued to the Gloucester Youth Leadership Council.
Okay, invite Chelsea Goldstein Walsh and David Tucker to come up and give us a little brief overview. Start these off.
Thank you, Counselor. Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to welcome you today and to say a few words about truly inspiring group, the Gloucester Youth Leadership Council, or GYLC. GYLC is a substance use prevention group made up of students from grades 6 to 12 who are dedicated to promoting positivity and becoming leaders in their community. These leaders have made a powerful impact, not only in Gloucester, but in surrounding communities as well. For creating over 10 public service announcement videos, one which placed second nationally, to volunteering through the city and launching campaigns focused on making our community safer and healthier for young people. Their work speaks for itself. I wanted to take a moment to thank the incredible youth leaders here today. Your dedication, hard work, and what made this possible and this day possible. We also want to extend our deepest thanks to the adult facilitators, Chelsea, Lacey, and myself, the City Council, Mayor Verga. Thank you for your support in bringing this all together. Congratulations to the leaders of GYLC. We are truly making a difference. And I will, okay. I'm going to have Chelsea list names, and we will have the leaders come up.
Well, I think first we're going to see if the councilors would like to make any comments and the mayor.
Yes, forgive me. Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, would you like to make any comments?
Good evening, councilors, and all the members of the public and our leaders. I think David covered a lot of it, but it's important to understand that you folks are leaders of tomorrow in this community, but you're also leading right now, which is really important, especially what Mary Ann mentioned early in her oral communications, that we do have issues going on right now. And it's very important that we have people who can model the behavior that really we want to have from our children. And I want to thank you, Mary. I just want to thank David and Chelsea for all that they've done. And I'm looking forward to having all of you. How many people? 20? How many? What's our list? Right. So strap in, folks. We're going to be here for a little while, but it is definitely something that's worth it. And I thank you, councilors, for giving me the opportunity to join in and sharing our celebration of our youth.
Thank you. I think we'll start with Councilor Worthley since he put this forward.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for everyone joining us tonight. It's nice to see a lot of people at City Hall. It's not often that we have this kind of an audience, and I know why you're here. The focus of tonight's commendation is recognizing the hard work of our student volunteers. But before we get to that, I'd like to thank Council President Gross for your assistance in helping getting this forward. And thank you to our health department staff, our city clerk's office, State Senator Bruce Tarr and his office for joining in this ceremony. Thank you to the mayor for joining us tonight as well. Thank you to the entire council for voting unanimously to award one of the City of Gloucester's highest awards. The Gloucester Youth Leadership Council creates positive change in our community by encouraging youth to reach their full potential and connecting them to opportunities and resources. The Gloucester Youth Leadership Council raises awareness about important community issues which impact healthy youth development, including mental health, substance abuse, and social justice, while providing a safe place for every student. Special thanks to the Gloucester Health Department staff, Chelsea Goldstein-Walsh, David Tucker, and Lacey Natty. Each of you is making a tremendous and positive difference in our community. Also want to thank the parents, step-parents, grandparents, and guardians of each of these students for encouraging them and supporting them in their volunteer leadership efforts. And now to our guest of honor. Tonight's commendation ceremony is to thank you and recognize your volunteer efforts. The council stands with you and the health department staff to amplify the work you're doing and to help your peers. There should never be a flicker of a doubt at how strongly the Gloucester City Council supports your efforts, and tonight is an opportunity for us to show that support. Oftentimes we hear that students are our future leaders, and as the mayor said, they are, and that may be true, but we can confidently say that you are also our current leaders. Even when you don't know it, you're making a difference. You're changing, in some cases, saving lives. I encourage each of you to keep up the great work. Thank you for coming tonight.
Dave, we could hold our applause for the other councilors so we can move along here. We'll start with Councilor Memhard.
I'd just like to join Councilor Worthley and the rest of us in thanking Chelsea and Dave and all of you. It's an important program. You're important, making a contribution to the community and acting as leaders. And there's nothing better than that for a community like Gloucester. So thank you so much.
Councilor Grace.
I want to say congratulations to each and every one of you for the extraordinary example that you are setting for your peers in this community. It is so very, very important, and we are so very proud of you. And thank you to David and Chelsea for all of your hard work. It's amazing what you do. And on a side note, congratulations, David, on your recent wedding, and happy birthday.
Counselor Grow.
I want to commend you all. Leadership and volunteerism is a lifelong thing, and you're starting at a great age. To paraphrase Mr. Rogers, you can look him up when you get home. In times of trouble, look for the helpers. You are the helpers. So thank you.
Counselor Nolan.
So Dave and Chelsea, thank you very much. It's very important to see what happens to the youth in the city and how we govern. Not to take away from anything, we've come a long way from driving around the back shore with a cigarette machine in the back of a car. And that was something that was very important to a lot of people, to get cigarette machines out of places where children could buy them. And the differences that we're working with today with equality and other situations in schools, you guys are rock stars. And I want to thank you. And I hope that your underclassmen, as they come up, work just as hard to make sure that Gloucester is on the cutting edge of one of the best places to live, that we include everybody and think about all. Thank you.
Counselor Majota.
Hi, I just wanted to take a moment to sincerely thank each of you for your commitment, passion, and leadership throughout your time. Your dedication to make a positive impact in our community has not gone unnoticed. You've shown what it means to lead with purpose, to seek up for what matters, and to work together toward a meaningful change. So thank you all for everything you do. Thank you.
Counselor Gilman.
Thank you. And thank you, David and Chelsea, for a job well done, and everyone here. One of the things that I heard Mayor Verga say resonated with me, and talking about now more than ever, to have youth leaders is so important. Social media has really brought us down as a community, nationally and locally. And the more you can lead by example and teach people not to be bystanders if they hear one of their friends being mocked or made fun of, the more you can do to stand tall and stick up for your values and treating people with dignity and respect will make our community so much better. And it's what we need to do everywhere right now. So thank you for stepping up, and I just can't thank you enough.
Counselor Benson.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you both. And also to all the youth out here tonight, thank you. A quote that I was looking at a little while ago before coming was, "The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow." You are the leaders of today as well, and many of you will be sitting here in short order. I want to thank you all again for all that you're doing and trying to make our community better and make our community lead, and not just lead here in Gloucester, but lead in the world. And our young people are going to be the change of the world. There's so much strife happening, but with all of you making the difference here in Gloucester and beyond, we're going to be a better place here in Gloucester and a better place all over. Again, thank you all. And as the youngest member up here, I also will say that I remember holding signs for some of these folks, and now here I am. So I look forward to sitting up here with some of you probably. Anyway, again, thank you all so much. And I'm just really moved by so many that are here tonight, and just really so many young people trying to make a difference and see the wrongs that are out there, but also the good and amplifying the good. Thank you.
Thank you. This is truly a great night, and I would like to, extend also my thanks to Chelsea, David, and Lacey for all the work they do to bring this together. But tonight's about you, the recipients of these accommodations. And, it's always not easy to be a leader. And I really admire the courage sometimes that it takes for you guys to do it, and what you do, the work you do is so important. We, you know, to be a peer leader is just an invaluable thing for your group, particularly in today's world is far more complicated than it was when I was your age. And it really does require a lot of help, and you guys are there in the trenches doing it, and you really need to be commended, as we will tonight, for this work, and we cannot thank you enough. I'd also like to recognize that Senator Tarr has arrived this evening, and School Committee Vice Chair Bill Melvin is here. Senator Tarr, if you'd like to come up and say a few words. I was not going to go after you, that's for sure. And then we will hand out the accommodations and shake some hands. Want to go up to the podium? Take those over to the table over there. Yeah, take them with. You can give them to Chelsea.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and through you to the members of the council. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here tonight to share with all of you in the expression of our pride and gratitude for the youth leaders that we recognize tonight. I think it's significant, and it's been said at least once while I've been in the room, that we live in a world that far too often emphasizes conflict, emphasizes chaos, emphasizes confrontation. And what we see here tonight are young people who have committed themselves to a much different future, a much different path, and who are willing to do what it takes to go down that path, not only for themselves, but for all of us. It is true, it's difficult to be a leader. It's difficult to be the one that's identified, the one that gets pointed to, the one that gets sought out when folks need help, when they need leadership, when they need advice, when they need guidance. But what we recognize here tonight are young people who in fact have placed themselves in that role voluntarily and chosen to say, I will be the one that will be there when I'm needed to offer advice, when I'm needed to offer support, when I'm needed to role model a different path than what might otherwise have been taken, when I'm there to say that I'm proud of my community, my neighbors, my peers. And in doing that, find a particular way to be able to reach their peers that many of us would not have, because it is a tremendous strength of communication when you can look someone in the eye and say, I am your peer, and here's what I'm feeling. It's incredibly powerful, and it's transformational. So tonight, along with the council, with the school committee, I'm honored to be here to congratulate our youth leaders, and particularly to congratulate the folks who lead our youth leaders, yes, both of you, and to say thank you for your work in creating an environment where this effort can thrive and where folks feel comfortable taking those steps toward leadership and where we can see that leadership blossoming. It is indeed, Mr. President, a great night for our community. It's a night when we recognize that our future is led by young people who understand the importance of leadership and who are willing to accept that challenge and that responsibility. And there can be no doubt in this room tonight that our future indeed is continuing to be bright because these young people that are recognized have taken the torch, have held it up high, and are lighting the way to the future. So thank you for allowing me to be here, share a couple of minutes, and most of all, thank you to our youth leaders for giving us all something to celebrate, to be inspired by, and renewing our hope in the future. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
So now the counselors are going to come up and line up along with the mayor and the senator to hand out the accommodations and shake some hands. We're going to have one reading of the accommodations, and then we will hand them out.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the Office of the Mayor, special citation to fill in the blank. As mayor, I proudly recognize your outstanding leadership, dedication, and service as a member of the Gloucester Youth Leadership Council, the GYLC. Your commitment to creating positive change, promoting teen health, and building a stronger, more inclusive community is truly commendable. From organizing meaningful community projects to raising awareness and creating opportunities for connection, joy, and support, the GYLC continues to be a beacon of hope and inspiration in our city. Thank you for being a role model and a voice for youth in Gloucester, given under my hand and the seal of the City of Gloucester this 22nd day of April, 2025.
And I am pleased to bring citations from myself and my colleagues in the Senate and also from Representative Ferranti. These read, be it known that in this case, the Senate hereby extends its congratulations to our Gloucester youth leaders in recognition of your leadership and personal dedication to building a stronger and healthier community through education, awareness, and collaboration. And be it further known that we extend our best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by our clerk. These are signed by our Senate President, Karen Spilka, attested to by our clerk, Michael Hurley, and offered by myself on April 22nd of 2025.
Thank you, Senator Tar. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have the honor of reading the City Council commendation. It's Old English, so just bear with me for a moment. Whereas the Gloucester City Council recognizes the Gloucester Youth Leadership Council for creating positive change in Gloucester by encouraging youth to reach their full potential by connecting them to opportunities and resources. And whereas the Gloucester City Council wishes to always demonstrate our appreciation for the important role the Gloucester Youth Leadership Council plays in raising awareness about the important community issues that impact healthy youth development, such as mental health, substance abuse, and social justice, while providing a safe place for everyone. And whereas the Gloucester City Council appreciates the work of our health department, and specifically the work of Chelsea Goldstein Walsh, Regional Prevention Director, David Tucker, Youth Development Coordinator, and Lacey Natty, Regional Prevention Coordinator, with the Gloucester Health Department's prevention team, who oversee the middle and high school students involved in the Gloucester Youth Leadership Team. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Gloucester City Council hereby honors the members of the Gloucester Youth Leadership Council for the continued positive impact for their peers, for the leadership in helping the youth of Gloucester live healthier lives, and for their volunteer efforts to support and contribute to our community by offering this accommodation on April 22nd, 2025. Thank you.
All right. I'd like Rowan Berlin to come up. Aaliyah Capone. Gage Desmond. Alba Gallagher. Madison Goodhue. Ethan Kohler. Emerson Lancaster. Brady Mezier. Amber Murphy. Billy Nixon. Natalie Parisi. Emerson Philbrook. Charlotte Randazza. Melody Rogers. Lauren Sargent. Maggie Seal. Matthew Smith. Zach Soundis. Erica Taylor Grassi. Miles Tran Harrison. Allison Tuck. Photo.
We're going to call a quick recess for a photo. So all the recipients and Chelsea and David, see where we want to do the photo op. Do we want to do it on the stage? Sure.
I'd ask leaders to please come onto the stage, take a photo, councilors, mayor.
Do you have a photographer?
Yeah. Counselor, up on the stage. Up on the stage. Zero.
To be in it, oh, I don't know, it's just a senator one, yeah. All right, that's her, yeah.
If you're not wearing your dress. I said if you're not wearing.
David, look at me. David, look at me. Look at me. Second row to this. You can do it.
Billy, get
All right, everybody look at me. Let's get through this one. Oh, perfect. Oh, you're David. Just trying to start. I was gonna be like, I'm fixing the point. That's it.
I don't know. My assumption is I'm just gonna maintain. Any other question?
how are you?
Is over.
How long did it take? Less than a half an hour. We go, where's Counselor Nolan? Did he leave us? Oh, there he is. All right, now what do we got? Okay, and you're
I've
gonna
been doing
yank
fine.
something. That's just
You
the
all
way
gonna stay for
you.
the rest of the program?
I don't know. I hope they ate all the cookies.
Imagine that. And I
Didn't
saw
have
me.
dinner, huh?
No, I
You're not
did.
a
but-
diabetic either.
All right, Madam Clerk, next order of business.
Consent agenda.
Okay, would any counselor wish to pull any matter off the consent agenda? Counselor Grow.
I'd like to pull off number 2 under applications and petitions, rezoning 2025-003.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. President.
Counselor Gilman first.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. I'd like to remove under communications and invitations, item number 4, City Council letters of support to state legislators regarding support for critical education initiatives in the fiscal 26 state budget.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Worthley.
Mr. President, under communications, numbers 1 and 3, please.
Okay, anybody else want to pull anything off? You sure? All right. I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda
So
as
moved.
amended.
So moved.
Motion made by Counselor Grow, seconded by Counselor Gilman with a first movement, but anyway. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Counselor Grow.
Pulling off the rezoning of the floodplain, FEMA floodplain updates, in order to make a motion to waive notice to abutters in accordance with GCO section 1.11.4B and set the public hearing date to Tuesday, May 27, 2025.
Discussion. Oh, you made the motion. Second. Do we have a second?
Oh, you want me to add that?
And you need to vote
Oh.
to refer it to P&B and Planning.
Right, I was going to do that afterwards, but.
Oh,
but-
okay.
But, yeah. I'll just say, and further move to vote to refer to P&D and the planning board.
Okay, motion made by Counselor Grow, seconded by Counselor Nolan. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, 9-0. Counselor Gilman.
Thank you, Council President. Under item number 4, the City Council letters, we have 2. We have one for Senator Tar and Ann Margaret Ferrante, and it's copied to folks on the Ways and Means Committee. And the second is a letter to Adam Chapdelaine, who is the Executive Director and President of MMA. And what I'd like to ask is that I'd like to move to suspend our Code of Ordinances and allow us to vote on these 2 letters later in the agenda as opposed to delaying the vote until May 13th. And I so move.
Second.
And I'd like to just explain why. The reason why this is important is that right now, we're getting towards the end of the House actually talking about these. And if we wait for 2 more, 2.5 more weeks, we won't have these letters in the hands of the people that right now can make a difference. I did check with our city clerk, and she looked into this for me on behalf of our council, and she said that these matters seem more administrative, and she didn't think that this letter qualifies as a measure, though. So if the council is agreeable tonight to pull it off and take a vote, it wouldn't be violating anything as far as she can tell. So I hope that you'll support this motion and allow us to vote on these 2 letters later on the agenda.
Thank you. Motion was made by Counselor Gilman, seconded by Counselor Nolan. Any further discussion? Counselor Worthley.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Councilor Gilman, I support what you're trying to do. I only question one part, which is you asked that we vote to suspend our Code of Ordinances. It's not in our Code of Ordinances that we can't vote on some for the first time. It's in our charter. And declaring an emergency for timeliness is probably the step we would take to do that, whether it's an emergency or
It's not a measure, so.
every
Correct.
vote's a measure. No, every vote is a measure.
Not according to our parliamentarian.
Okay, so what code are we suspending?
This would be the charter, and the charter is in the Code of Ordinances.
Charter is referenced in the Code of Ordinances. It's not an ordinance. I just want to make sure we're doing it technically correct. So are we suspending rules of procedure, or are we voting to declare an emergency, which I would support, by the way. I'm not trying to,
We're voting to suspend the requirement to have it come before us twice.
where is that?
Well, it's mentioned in the charter. Well, it's only mentioned in the charter as a measure.
Under emergencies?
I don't think it is under emergency.
I'd be, yeah,
It's-
okay.
But
I just don't, what are we voting on?
Council
actually?
Grace has the link in her email that she sent to me on Friday, April 18th. Oh, the city clerk, Grace, sorry.
So I'm not aware of your email that you received, but I just want to make sure we're doing it right. Are we overriding an ordinance that exists? I don't know what ordinance that is. So,
yeah, we're really just voting to suspend our rules.
okay,
So it's been, yes, the charter says that every measure, but our clerk says this is not a measure. So I'm not defining a measure. I'm not.
right. We did this on shellfish issues, something that you
Yeah,
brought forward.
we've
That
done
was
it.
3 years ago.
emergency, though.
Yeah.
This is not an emergency. This
It's
is,
just timely.
this is a simple letter that our legislators actually asked us to do when they spoke in front of the school committee in late March. And I watched that Zoom call, and they specifically asked us and the school committee to help and suggested that we also send a letter to MMA. If we wait for May 13th, our effectiveness in getting this out, so a measure, according to Grace's recommendation, which I agree, this is a simple letter. This is not an act changing something. This is a letter to support an initiative of special education and needing them to know that we're behind it. I don't think it has the same effect as an ordinance or a zoning matter where they do have to go in front of us. So
Mr. President, I just want to be clear. I support what you're doing.
I know that.
Okay.
I just want to make sure
Wait,
that the
wait, let her,
suspension of
let her
rules-
finish. Let her
Oh, I thought
finish.
she repeated hers.
I'm finished. I think I'm ready to vote.
I just want to, if I may,
Go
Council
ahead.
President, and is that I remember we doing this for the proclamation to honor Hispanic Heritage Month. We suspended the rule, you suspended, I think you proceeded to ask to suspend the rules because we were, if we hadn't adopted it at that moment, we would have, Hispanic Heritage Month was passing. So I think there's precedent here to support this, and this is not a measure. And I don't know if the city solicitor.
No,
is-
let's not get that
Okay.
involved in this, please. Can we just,
I'm
can
good.
we call the question?
Absolutely.
Okay, all those in favor of? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
It was a motion to suspend the rules or a motion to send it, the letter?
Do it later on. My suggestion was to defer going over the letters later on in the agenda.
Yeah. To suspend the rules to send it. I think it's all one action. Thank you. All right, you pulled off 1 and 3
Yes.
under communications?
Yep, so I fully support this going to the Ordinance Administration Committee, where it deals with finances and we don't have our fees in a separate document. I'd like to add that we also refer to the Budget and Finance Committee pending the Ordinance Administration Committee's review. And I so move.
Motion's been made by Councilor Worthley, seconded by Councilor Majota to send, also refer this to BNF. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0. Okay. Is that it? Yep. So next order of business, Madam Clerk.
The April 17th, 2025 Budget and Finance Standing Committee Report.
All right, we are going to take this as a, except for the Board of Health's fee increases, we are going to take this as a consent agenda. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Right, Council Memard, that's Chair, would you like to read that one line there? Motion to accept the April 17th?
I shall. I believe item number 1 is a roll call vote still.
Well, the whole thing, we're doing them all.
Okay.
So, yep, on your template.
Yep, I got it.
Here.
So I would make a motion to accept the April 17th, 2025 Budget and Finance Committee as a report as a consent agenda, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Memard, seconded by Counselor Grow. There's a roll call vote. Call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Counselor Grow.
Aye.
Counselor Majota.
Aye.
Counselor Memhard.
Aye.
Counselor Nolan.
Aye.
Counselor Worthley.
Aye.
Counselor Benson.
Aye.
Counselor Gilman. Counselor Grace.
Aye.
Counselor Gross.
Aye.
The vote is 9 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion passes.
Okay. You want to continue on reading the motions? It's easier if you do it. It's on page 4.
We're talking about item number 5.
No, number 1.
End of consent agenda. Okay, I see. Yep. Item number 1 is a memorandum from the Director of Public Health regarding a fee change request for septic systems. And the committee recommendation on a vote by Councilor Gross, seconded by Councilor Worthley. Budget and Finance Committee voted 3 in favor, 0 opposed, to recommend that the City Council approve the proposed fee change as presented in the memo dated April 1st, 2025, as incorporated here too, presented by the Director of Public Health and as approved by the Mayor. And I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Memard, seconded by Counselor Worthley. And so in front of us, we have the fee schedule. It's up on the big screen. And if we would like to have the Director of Public Health, Dominique Hurley, come and speak to this for a minute.
Councilors, how are you? Would you like me to quick summarize it or what?
Sure, yep.
Some questions?
Into the mic, please.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Can you hear me all right?
yep.
All right, so this is the second round of fee changes that we're proposing from the Health Department. We did rental before, today is septic. After this comes food and then all others. There's several kinds of fees that we are in charge of. What you're seeing on this memorandum is us looking at the 4 key factors that drive a fee for our department, and I'll just remind you of them. We first look at cost per unit. In other words, how much time do we spend doing things, and take a very close look at the time it takes and the cost of that time, which I think I've said to you all before is about $50 an hour at a blended rate. We also look at what the CPI increase has been since 2007 when we last updated our fees of 1.58. So we also took a look at that. We compare the value that we're adding against the time that we're spending, which was a big factor in rental, not as big a factor on this side of things in septic. And then we also look at other towns and what other towns are charging. All together, taking all of those factors into account, arrive at this fee schedule. So I can answer any questions or however you'd like me to review it with you.
Councilors, questions? Looks like, oh, Counselor Gilman.
With your permission, Council President, I'd like to just ask you just to elaborate, give us one example of how you looked at a different municipality to determine that we were comfortable with the rate, because that was my question at BNF. And I think it's important for people to know that we're fiscally responsible because we're looking at this data and not just coming up with these out of the air. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Gilman. I can give you one example that's, representative as an example under disposal system installers as an example. 4 separate towns were looked at: North Reading, Ipswich, Rockport, and Concord. Prices ranging from $100 to $175 per permit. And our permits are coming in a proposed fee of $200. And that's because we settled in on the amount of time that it's taking us to do it. And looking at the CPI increases. So that was the primary reason. So in that instance, we're higher than other towns, but not by very much. Another example would be a septic plan review. That's a really important part of the work that we do in the department, where we look at a proposed plan, assess it for its legality, ensure that all of the elements that need to be on a plan are on it. Other towns like Rockport, Ipswich, and Concord charge between $150 and up to $1,100 in the case of Concord. Really important to understand in all of this is that many towns have not updated their fees. So at some level, we're leading the charge on changing our fees. Whereas others have different status. So that's one example, or two examples rather. In some cases, we couldn't find fees. They're not being described. Their work isn't being evaluated at that level.
Sounds like it's gone.
To speak. And, total of about, $30,000, $35,000 a difference in fees that we'll be gathering. So this is in the scheme of our entire collection of fees, de minimis, but it is important at least that we are affording to operate and have the inspectors that we need to have to do this work.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Councilor Grow.
You just to explain the transfer station fees, the construction and debris transfer station, the septic transfer stations, those seem to have some wildly fluctuating numbers. And I'm
Yeah,
curious.
thank you for that question. So a transfer station for septic, there's one in town. It's down on Bond Street. We just spent a great deal of time between the Board of Health, our inspectors, and the current owners of that facility working to help them understand how to stay compliant. This is the cost that, in the case of the $1,000 versus $1,250, that's a very small difference. We wanted to round it down because we believe that it's the only one in town currently, and we also believe that we now can comfortably monitor their work. That requires us to look at various inspection reports, go out and physically evaluate, look at bottom of tank, at intervals, working with their folks who are accountable for operations to be sure that they are compliant to all of the laws. Right next to a wetland, and there's a lot of risk there. So that is that fee. As it relates to construction and construction debris, really that's an anticipation. As you all are probably aware, we're going to be evaluating site suitability for one that's shortly on May 7th is our opening hearing. What this is an anticipation of something like that coming through. Of course, the board doesn't judge beyond legality of such a site. But if it would come to life, and it does, and it will be operating, we wanted to be prepared for the work that's involved in any role that we would play to ensure that there is no risk to health and safety. So this is a fee in anticipation. And you can see that based on talking to other health departments and other municipalities, that they're not necessarily charging, but it's the time that they're spending. And so we brought it down by half to just pick a number to be sure that we have some costs covered in the event that this does move forward, and we have time that has to be spent in supporting and ensuring compliance. It's a straw man, though, it truly is. And what I said at Budget and Finance, and I'll repeat it here, in all cases, we have looked carefully at what we think the time is taking. We're now tracking our time. We're looking at what every single thing we do, the time it's taking us to support it. And as we get a better and better sense, we might come before you again and raise or lower. But again, these haven't been looked at since 2007. And this department didn't have any historical data as to how things should be costed out. So we're really at the end of, year 1.5 looking at this. It's a straw man at many levels.
More discussion. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0. Thank you very much, Dominique.
Thank you.
Okay. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
The April 14th O&A meeting, as well as the April 16th P&D meeting were canceled, so there's no committee reports on those meetings. So next is public hearing number 2025-15, loan order 2025-002, acquisition of property located at 2 Blackburn Drive, Gloucester, Mass. In the amount of $4,600,000.
With the council's permission, I'd like to move the unfinished business before these public hearings.
Second?
No objection?
Okay, no objection, so we will go to the short-term rental vote. And some new information has come to light regarding that. Okay, because you weren't here. Yep. So, before us is on our back page, what's before us is to delete number 1 underneath prohibitions. I think it's 569, I don't know what it is. And what was, the new information is that this is actually a redundant, a duplication of 566E. So what the deletion of this is probably, well, just informing you that if this is deleted, it will make things clearer and not have 2 places here where this is in the ordinance where this is referenced. So it would have to be deleted, and then the next point of the next points under prohibitions would have to be renumbered. So with that, we can just, yes.
I just ask, since Suzanne is here, if she concurs with this is in terms of appropriateness.
Yes, good evening. I do concur that this provision here, if you delete it, you'll make your ordinance more consistent internally, so there won't be any conflicts.
Right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any more discussion? Everybody understand exactly what we're doing? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it 9-0. It was already moved and seconded prior. So, and then let's just take care of the next one. Oh. It's been stricken from all the others. Right. So the next one is the addition of for-profit in this amendment, and we've stricken it from everywhere else. So on this amendment, which has been moved, no, has not been moved. So I'll entertain a motion to amend 5-69-2 to add for-profit.
Second.
For this on the screen.
Committee recommendation, a motion by Councilor Gray, seconded by Councilor Majota. The Ordinance and Administration Committee voted 3 in favor, 0 opposed, to recommend that the City Council amend the Gloucester Code of Ordinance, Chapter 5, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 5, Short-Term Rentals, Section 5 through 64, definitions as follows. 2, corporate ownership. Short-term rentals are prohibited in dwelling units owned by a for-profit corporation. Short-term rentals are permitted in dwelling units owned by an LLC, trust, or S corporation only when every shareholder, partner, or member of the legal entity is a natural person as established by documentation provided by the applicant at the time of registration. And I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Majota, seconded by Councilor Worthley.
It's a clarification. Again, we're voting, we've already stricken for-profit throughout this.
Throughout.
A no vote would strike this as an. amendment.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. Everybody understand that? Councilor Worthley.
I was just going to say, Mr. President, could I offer a friendly amendment to change the number 2 to 1, because we just deleted the first section in our prior vote, so this would be
Well,
the only section now.
is
on
there
that.
more that go down the line on that. Because there's more that go down the line. So there'll be, so it was, it's been
I'm just talking about the motion that was read said 2, and it will no longer be 2. We just deleted number 1.
correct.
So I
Yeah,
just
so
offer to make
take
it
that out of the motion.
Just make it number 1.
Yeah.
As a friendly amendment, if the
Yep.
motion maker will accept that.
So Frank, you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So does everybody understand what we're voting on? If you want to keep for profit, then that's a yay. If you want to not keep for profit, that's a nay.
Wait.
All right?
Can you say that again? A yes vote
Keeps it,
keeps for profit as being prohibited.
no, keeps it in the language. The blue that's on there, that's the only addition in this language.
But it's added under the section of prohibitions.
No, this is already in the section of prohibition.
Right, so a yes vote prohibits for-profit ownership. We're adding for-profit to clarify that nonprofit is not prohibited.
We've already determined that for-profit added confusion throughout the rest of the ordinance, so we've stricken it everywhere else.
So what is it that we're trying to accomplish right now?
Right now, the only thing before us is your amendment that puts for-profit into this language,
To prohibit it.
into this sentence right here.
Right, putting it here, the intention was to prohibit for-profit. So a
Well-
yes vote prohibits for-profit, no vote allows for-profit.
No, because it's not allowed in any of the other, we've already defined what is allowed and what isn't, what is allowed. And we determined throughout the marathon meeting before that for-profit just confused matters because it wasn't defined.
So what are we trying to accomplish right now? This motion.
I don't
does
know what, you're the one who put the for-profit in. We're voting on whether to keep for-profit in or not keep
As a
for-profit.
prohibition.
In this sentence,
It's under the
under
section.
prohibitions,
Okay, what section is this sentence going to be under?
under 5.69 prohibitions.
I put for-profit as a prohibition to be clear that we're prohibiting for-profit.
Yes,
Operation.
and we talked ad nauseum at the last meeting about what for-profit meant and what it doesn't mean, and it's undefined, so we took it out of all the other language that that you had inserted it in. There was
Okay.
2 or 3 other places that we took for-profit out because the places that can be are defined either in this ordinance or by state law.
I just want to understand what a yes vote does. It adds for-profit?
A
as
yes vote
prohibition,
adds for-profit.
As a prohibition. And no vote says for-profit.
It just adds it into this sentence, which is in the section of prohibitions.
So in other words, it doesn't change that we're prohibiting for-profit ownership.
Having it in there changes nothing, and not having it in it changes nothing. So because we've struck it everywhere else, because we can't name every for-profit that there is that we can envision. What has been named in state law and in the ordinance is what are allowed.
So a no vote
or what
clarifies
are
the ordinance.
exempted. A no vote clarifies it.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you for educating me on that.
Yes.
I'm good.
Okay. Everybody else understand? All right. All those in favor? All those opposed?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, back to back to our agenda. So you want to reread that first public hearing again? I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. We'll do that.
The next item is public hearing 25-15, loan order 2025-002, acquisition of property located at 2 Blackburn Drive, Gloucester, Mass, in the amount of $4,600,000.
I will open the public hearing. Speaking in favor, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening again, counselors. You received a memo from Susan Egan, our legal counsel, in March. And just to give a quick refresher, we met with the council in executive session at the end of the year, early December, to seek your permission for to allow the administration to negotiate the purchase of the former charter school, where currently we have the preschool and the school administration building located at 2 Blackburn Drive. We've been renting this building for about more than 10 years, since 2013. There's been a option to purchase the property in the last several leases. And right now we're at the point we need to renew or purchase. And what we have before you tonight is a loan offer for $4,600,000, which would be a purchase price of $4,050,000. And the additional $550,000 gives us a little wiggle room to do some work needed to take over the building. You recall that when we met in executive session, the reason it was in executive session is because it was negotiations, which we obviously can't do in public. We talked about how long we've been renting it. Join with me tonight, I should mention, Suzanne Egan will come up, talk about the lease and what the friendly taken by eminent domain means. Connor McCorkle, our CFO, will be talking about the comparison of renting versus purchase versus continued leasing. At the time we discussed the options, it was brought up that there had been some research done about possibly moving the preschool and or the administration functions to either the high school or O'Malley. As we discussed, those really don't work. The pricing that we were given at the time was $2019 pre-COVID, pre-inflation, and the cost was about $6 million for either option. As we move forward, we feel it's a perfect opportunity to purchase this building. It may not be the home for the school and preschool the administration of the preschool indefinitely, but we do not want to find ourselves in the cold if the landlord decides he does not want to renew the lease. So I'd like to have Suzanne talk about the steps of what's in the lease, what our options are to purchase it, and what eminent domain means. And then Connor has a slide which he shared with you at our meeting in December, which very clearly shows it is in our financial best interest to purchase this property now, where the principal will go down over years versus the rent, which will increase exponentially over the years. So with that, I'm going to have Suzanne come up through the chair, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Good evening, councilors. So I can give you a little background on the process for how we got to this, the price for acquiring this property. So in 2023, the city put out a request for proposals to lease a building for preschool and school administration. That the Cape Ann Medical Center LLC responded. That's at 2 Blackburn Drive. That's the same place that the preschool and school administration building has been in for about 10 years. In that RFP, there are annual rent payments up until year 2, where there was then a amount that the property could be purchased for, and that's $4,050,000, as the mayor said. At that point, what we've done is we reached out to the owner. He's willing to go forward on that price. We've had the property appraised. That's part of what we have to do in order to be able to purchase something, is have an appraisal. The appraisal showed that this purchase price was the fair market value for this. We have gone, as suggested by the council president, to the CIAB, the Capital Improvement Advisory Board. That was last week, I believe, and we explained the acquisition to them, and they voted unanimously in favor of recommending the council go forward with this acquisition. So at this point, under the law, a city is prohibited from acquiring something by a purchase if the acquisition price is higher than 25% of the assessed value for the past 3 years. And as what is typically happens, assessed value is typically lower than your fair market value. This exceeds the assessed value. So that means that what the council will do is exercise their eminent domain authority in order to purchase this. And that just has to be based on an appraisal. The price is based on appraisal. It's also based on the lease agreement. So that, in that sense, we're complying with the law. We have entered into an agreement with the landowner that they will accept that price, that this is a friendly taking, and that they'll accept the price that we're going to take it for and release all other claims and they may have through the eminent domain process. And so what's before you is to vote on an order of taking and an appropriation of the loan order for $4,600,000, which includes the additional money, as the mayor said. I'm happy to answer any of the questions.
They'll come later.
Thank you.
Anyone else wanting to speak in favor?
I'd like to have Connor share that slide that tells the story. As I said, the rent is projected to go up, whereas the purchase, it will go down over time. And it is pretty much a wash what we're paying for the rent today versus what we'd be paying for lack of a better term, a mortgage tomorrow. So Connor.
So the chart I just pulled up compares lease payments against general obligation bond payments over the next 20 years. For the lease, we assumed a $6,000 escalator every 2 years, which is what we've seen in prior years with the landlord. The gray line is a 20-year general obligation bond. I assumed 3.15% with level principal payments over 20 years. So the chart, which is a little squishy at the bottom, just shows savings year over year and then cumulatively over the 20-year period. So by the end of 20 years, we will estimate to save approximately $2.4 million to own versus lease.
The only final thing I would add is that the paperwork we had for the plans for O'Malley and the high school from 2019 showed the purchase price for the building was $3.9 million. So as we've seen since 6 years, the purchase price has gone up and it will continue to go up. But we do currently need to have a place for the preschool and our administration offices. So with that, that's our presentation.
Name and address for the record.
Matthew O'Brien, 8 Hesper Circle. I'm still very confused by the rules on the STR. It just seems like a lot of yelling back and forth, and I don't know what the new rules are that are affecting my life.
Sorry, that we're in a public hearing on something completely different. That public hearing was over.
Yeah, I spoke last week and nothing really.
Well, we didn't finish the business. The public hearing had been closed.
So is there going to be a time to speak again tonight?
No.
So is there a time I can set up to discuss the rules with you so I understand them properly?
Or sure.
How do I go about setting that up?
Yeah,
I called you a few weeks ago and didn't get a call back, so I was wondering.
Call me?
Yeah. Your name and address right on the website.
Message?
I did. I'll call again tomorrow morning.
All right, yeah, do that.
All right, thank you.
I'll be in physical therapy from 8:30 to 10, but.
All right, I'll call a few minutes after 10. Thank you.
Hey,
Just very confusing. It's affecting my
no,
life.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't want to get myself in trouble or break any
Yeah.
rules.
Yep, no, and thank you. Thank you for coming up.
All right, I hope you call me back tomorrow.
I will. Leave me a message if I don't. Okay, anyone else want to speak in favor? Anyone want to speak in opposition? Do we have any communications?
No.
All right. Questions from the counselors? Nobody's online. Turn it over to Councilor Nolan.
There's been no communications? Madam Clerk? Okay. We'll start off with questions from the counselor, and we'll start from left to right. Counselor Benson.
No, I'm good.
Counselor Gilman.
I have a question for either Connor or for Suzanne.
Not a problem. You choose the one, and I'm sure they'll both come
Okay,
up.
it's just a very simple question. I was just wondering if when something is acquired through eminent domain, if there's any tax implication for the city? And I was just thinking that when you were talking about that, I mean, the data on renting versus or leasing versus buying is absolutely telling, but I was just wondering if there are any tax implications.
In terms of using that process for eminent domain?
Yeah.
No, there aren't any implications.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Councilman Majota.
No questions.
I'm back. Anyone else? Councilor Memard? No? Councilor
Yeah,
Worthley?
Oh, I thought you were going left to right and just, that's how Councilor Nolan was doing it. I wasn't quite ready, but
Oh,
I can go now.
we're in the question period, right?
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for bringing this forward. And thank you for getting the Capital Improvement Advisory Board. Actually, that's common. We need questions right now. You had mentioned, I want to be very sensitive to what we talked about in executive session. I think is all that, are we past that point that we can discuss it or no? I just want to make sure because we've got numbers here that were in executive session that's being put forward already. They're already made public. So I just want to make sure we're not violating any executive session.
No, you wouldn't be talking about what was discussed in executive session at this point. The only time you talk about the details of executive session, if there is a determination that the reasons for going into executive session have passed. And at this point, because this sale has not been completed, it has not. It's that my advice would be is to make sure that this is all, the purpose of the executive session continues.
Just want to be very sensitive to that. Where we have a dollar number that we have publicized for the loan authorization, can we speak about that, which was also discussed in executive session? That's already public right now.
So the loan order is, excuse me. The loan order includes the acquisition cost, and it also includes costs for making repairs and also the cost of closing on the sale.
So how about I just ask my question and then you can decide if that's appropriate, because it was also discussed. I think we're way past that point. I just wanted to throw the question out. Okay. There's no expectation that this is a short or long-term sale. It's based on the needs of the school in the future. But would you suspect that this property will hold its value given the demand in the industrial park? Is that a fair enough question to ask without violating?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That would definitely be something that we would expect.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, you're answering the question and you're saying it's okay to ask that question.
Yes, that was not, yes, absolutely, both.
Okay. So the expectation of the administration is that if at some point in the future we decide not to have a preschool there, the property would retain its value. Is that what we're hearing?
Yes.
Okay. We have last year I put forward a renewable energy ordinance, and I don't know if the additional money between the acquisition costs and the repair costs could include at least a review of the possibility of a renewable energy, and if that's factored into the loan authorization.
It's my understanding that it's not factored into that. And that would be more of a question. Yeah, I think at this point, what is under consideration and what has been discussed is the condition of the building as it stands now and the acquisition of that building.
So the intent of that was to make sure that when loan authorization come before us, it would include at least a review of the costs for renewable energy at this point so that we're not kicking that can down the road and we're also not having a second hearing on a couple $100,000 if that's what it takes. The question is, does this loan authorization factor that in? I think you said no, just want to be clear.
And so I'm not the person to answer that question. I'm going to ask Connor to come up and answer that question.
Okay. Thank you.
So the loan order includes initial outfitting costs. So they're not defined clearly in the loan order. It's because the school department has some items they'd like to do. Our public works director also has items. So we know we have a long list and we're separating out what needs to happen versus what we'd like to happen. But it's flexible in the loan order.
Thank you. Could I just remind you that if there's an opportunity to look at renewable energy, that I asked the administration to include that in the long list of things that might be included in that extra wiggle room for money. That's fine for me to come moving forward on that. So I had one other question. But if I can find it here, I'll come back to it. But if you want to share the floor with anybody else.
Counselor Grace.
Just for, to put in simplistic terms for understanding for anybody that's listening at home. The hunt for or opportunity to have another preschool down the road is not off the table, correct? Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay,
That's
I
correct.
just want like simple questions, simple answers for the people at home.
That is correct.
Okay, and typically in Gloucester, real estate doesn't go down unless it maybe falls into the ocean, which this isn't going to happen. So it is a good investment, and we will, if down the road we had to sell it, we would either break even or make a profit, correct?
Yeah, that's the expectation, yes.
Right, and if we don't do this now, and 5 months from now, 6 months from now, the owner decides that he's going to sell to somebody else that gives a better offer, we would be scrambling at the last minute to try to find a preschool location.
Yes. that's
Thank you.
correct. Yep.
Counselor Grow.
I'm going to wait till she gets back to the table. No, I'm kidding. No questions from me. I'm fine.
You already have a turn? Go ahead. Counselor Benson.
I'm always picked on up here, you know. I was picked on all my life and now I'm getting picked on up here. Just teasing, but anyway, maybe this is to the mayor. Mayor, first off, this is a smart move, but anyway, my question is, would we keep this as a preschool forever, or is there a plan eventually to maybe sell it? Like that's just my quick question. It's like, would that
Well-
eventually, if we're successful, and obviously,
Well, there
yeah.
are a few reasons why now is the time to buy.
Mhm.
You know, the owner could say, I'm not renewing your lease, I'm selling to somebody else. The second one is there's no new schools in the cards for at least another 7 to 10 years. You know, getting in the pipeline for MSBA reimbursement, it's about how long it took for the last couple of schools we built. But we keep in mind, we do have the site at Beaman, which has 20 or so acres. We do have the site at Plum Cove, which has 10 or so acres. So somewhere down the road, we could see if there was a consolidation there. It opens up 3 possibilities. One, Plum Cove becomes the preschool and/or school administration building. The current Beaman becomes the preschool and/or administration building, or the new building is combining the schools and those other 2 functions. But as I said, it's a long way down the road, and with all that's going on right now with funding and big question marks, we're not even thinking about that. We just need to have the security of having this building in our possession. I just don't think that we can count on leases for the next few years.
And the concern is like us waiting there's a great risk that we could lose this.
We could, and the other risk is, as I mentioned, 2019, the sale price was $3.9 million. And we could have, with what we paid in rent, we could have bought this building 3 times over. And it's time to stop that bleeding.
Yep. Thank you. And it's a fiscally smart move. So thank you, Mayor.
Counselor Worthley.
Thank you. I remember my question. I think the mayor alluded to it. Just this might be helpful, but do we know how much money we have spent in the rent since we started this? And if it needed to get a calculator out real quickly, we could do a multiplier times.
We've been paying rent for 12 years at around $300,000 average a year. I'm not Rain Man, so I can't figure that out in my head, but that's the number.
60.
Yeah.
3,000,006.
Right. And so if we wait another 10 years renting, well, you saw the chart that diverged. It was pretty telling.
So we've spent about 3.6 million in rent.
Yeah, that's just going with round numbers at 300. It's been more. It started out at a little bit less, but but the rent has gone like this. And we must say that, the landlord has been very friendly, generous. He's a resident who really cares, and he could have just knocked on somebody else's door and made a fortune and left us out in the cold. So I think it's an opportunity we shouldn't pass up.
One more questions?
Councilor Grow. Councilor Grow.
I just want to clarify because I'm concerned that that question might bring some doubt. We were never in a position 10 years ago or until recently in a position to actually buy the building.
The last several leases had the purchase option, at least the current one and the one before it.
I think, well, sorry, but I mean, when
You were
I was-
involved there
when
when
I was on, it was always an option to buy.
I was always an
Yeah,
option to buy.
always.
Oh, okay. Did not work.
Yep.
Question.
Councilor Memard.
Mayor Verga, if you could just highlight the special costs that are involved with making space that meets the state standards for preschool. My understanding is that, in fact, those improvements that are existing currently at 2 Blackburn Drive would be a very expensive investment in any other property were we to have to make them.
Right. The requirements for a kindergarten class are quite extensive, and it's even more involved for preschool. And the numbers I just rattled off, that $6 million figure, and you recall we had given this report to this public document. You got it at the executive session. It was that $6 million figure was just for one of the functions, not the school administration. The preschool, just doing the work to renovate the high school to fit the preschool was a number of $6 million in 2019. So figure double that. But since then, any existing or excess space that was in those two schools no longer exists.
Thank you.
Again, just a simple question with simple answers so that the people at home listening understand this, that in order to refit one of our other schools to accommodate the preschool or the kindergarten, there's been question about because there was a preschool or a daycare, whatever, at the high school years ago, but regulations have changed, things have changed. So it would not be cost effective to take that money and to refit a school because it would end up costing us more, correct?
Yes, the 2019 numbers exceed what we're looking to borrow now by $1.5 million. And the preschool program that was available at the high school did not have the number of classes or staff that we currently have.
Just so that the people listening at home understand that this investment is been very well thought out to best serve our students and to best serve the city fiscally.
I feel that way.
Councilor Worthley.
A couple of last questions for me, and this is very specific in terms of the budget. The rental costs for this building came out of the school department or came out of the public properties department?
Came out of DPW? Yeah, facilities. Yes.
And so now, using that chart, it'll be a little bit less in terms of the mortgage, we'll call it debt service. Does that free up, well, it won't be till next budget, but would that potentially free up some money in the public properties line item that they're not spending on this rent any longer? Or does that mean?
I'm going to let Connor answer which line item it would actually fall under, but it's.
Thank you.
So the current lease is in the DPW facilities budget. We'll enter a bond anticipation note for the next 12 months. So we'll do a temporary 12-month bond. It'll go into permanent financing in FY27. So this next year, FY26, you get sort of a break from those lease payments, which has been very helpful in a challenging budget year.
It'll come out of a different area in terms of debt service, though, is that right?
Correct. So debt service is its own department. So it'll come in under there in
So it doesn't necessarily free up money for Mike Hale to do something else in public properties, it just means we're accounting for it in a different spot then.
No, but it helped us get him across the finish line for 26.
Okay, thank you. I'm good.
Is that it for questions? I'm going to close the public hearing. And Councilor Memard, would you like to read the committee report?
It would be my pleasure to do so. So, on a motion by myself, seconded by Councilor Gilman, Budget and Finance Committee voted by roll call, 3 in favor, 0 opposed, to recommend that the City Council approve the loan order as follows. Ordered that the City of Gloucester appropriates $4,600,000 to pay costs of acquiring the property located at 2 Blackburn Drive in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and costs of remodeling and initial outfitting or upgrades to said property, and any fees or services related to this transaction, and any other costs incidental or related thereto. To meet with appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow said amount under and pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 7-1, or pursuant to any other enabling authority. Further ordered that the treasurer is authorized to file an application with the Municipal Finance Oversight Board to qualify under Chapter 44A of the general laws any or all of the bonds authorized by this order, and to provide such information and to execute such documents as the Municipal Finance Oversight Board may require for these purposes, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Memard, seconded by Counselor Worthley. Discussion. Counselor Worthley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for bringing this to us. We've been talking about this for some time, you and I'm pleased to see that you move forward with this. If we had a time machine, we wouldn't be doing this, right? We'd probably be looking at a different location that might be more accessible or not as industrial. But as you say often, we are where we are. And I respect that we don't have a time machine to go back and save all that rent money that we've basically lost. I'm commending the mayor. Sorry. I'm being told I can't commend you for this longer, but anyway, thank you for bringing this forward. I know there'll be people in the community thinking we're spending a lot of money. We're spending a lot of money either way, and this will be a way that we ultimately spend less money every year, and in the long run, a lot less. I appreciate that you've added a little wiggle room for the repairs that might be needed. I wouldn't say repairs, just regular maintenance. I also want to just acknowledge again that we're putting a little bit more burden on the Department of Public Works. And so if DPW comes to us in their next budget saying, well, we've now acquired another building that we need to be responsible for maintaining, that we give them a little leeway knowing that they've got more responsibility with the same amount of money. Maybe we need to be prepared to offer a little bit more when that comes up. I had put forward a renewable energy ordinance a couple years ago. I was hoping that this could include that. I appreciate that you're willing to consider that in the list of punch list things that might need to be accomplished. I don't think that this is a permanent decision, right? We don't want to permanently have preschool in industrial park. The resale value of this is strong, and especially if we keep the property up, I don't see that this is a problem that if in 5, 10, 15 years we decide that there's a better location for preschool, this doesn't prohibit us from doing that. So as much as it's a lot of money, it's saving a lot of money in the long run. So I appreciate you bringing this to us and the work that your staff has done to get us to this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Counselor Gilman.
So I've got the minutes of our meeting on March 20th in front of me, which is helpful because what I just heard was the exact same thing that we talked about in open session at that meeting. And specifically, it reminds us of the data that we showed tonight, which shows that there's a 2.473931 difference if we make the right decision right now and follow through with this purchase as opposed to, or eminent domain, as opposed to continuing to lease it. So I'm very comfortable with this from a business standpoint. I'm looking forward to voting on this in several minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Benson.
Thank you. And I agree with the mayor, as he was just saying, is we have to stop the bleeding. The numbers speak for themselves. We're looking at saving over $2 million. That's significant. And again, I also don't think we should be in the business of managing leases. And it is worth noting that in broader context of the cost of just so much of childcare in this state and beyond it's just enormous. So this is important. Again, thank you for bringing this forward, and I'm glad to be supporting this.
Thank you. I was on the school committee when this move happened, and we were at the time the preschool was the last holdouts in the backside of Fuller, which was very less than ideal for a preschool to begin with. And the population that this preschool serves, it's an integrated preschool. And we have an obligation to educate and help children with special needs from, I think it's age 3, 20, yeah, 30 months, something like that, and to age 22. But this is what integrated preschool has: kids with special needs and kids of regular education. That's what the integrated part is. And it starts these kids off with, you know, it's Head Start, but it's not, this is not Head Start, but it's aptly named that this actually gives them a good foundation. This facility really has blossomed. The kids have blossomed under this. The enrollment almost doubled in the first year because of the change of facility. And, you know, it was unfortunate that we've waited this long to buy it, but it still is a good deal, considering the costs that we have seen of our other capital improvement, just renovations across the street, down the, you know, the police station. The cost of those things were, you know, a lot higher than the cost of this building, which is ready to go and is pretty similar sized. So with that said, anybody else have any more to say? Councilor Grace.
Keep it simple. Just again, to reiterate to people listening at home that yes, it sounds like we're spending $4 million on something, but in actuality, yes, we are, but we would be spending $8 million if we did something else. Currently, the way that we're doing it, the landlord is getting all of the equity in this building. By purchasing this building, the equity then becomes the City of Gloucester's money that they are earning, that over time, this building will pay for itself. So look at the big picture. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, again, this motion is on the loan order of $4.6 million. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Oh, roll call, sorry.
Counselor Grow.
Aye.
Counselor Majota.
Yes.
Counselor Memhard.
Aye.
Counselor Nolan.
Aye.
Counselor Worthley.
Yes.
Counselor Benson.
Aye.
Counselor Gilman.
Aye.
Counselor Grace.
Aye.
Counselor Gross.
Yes.
The vote is 9 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion passes.
The second part of tonight's motion relates to the eminent domain. The committee recommendation from Budget and Finance on a motion by myself, seconded by Councilor Gilman. Budget and Finance Committee voted by roll call, 3 in favor, 0 opposed, to recommend that the City Council approve the order of taking the fee simple title in 2 Blackburn Drive, Gloucester, accepting any easement record along with all buildings and trees thereon as described in the order of taking in accordance with General Law, Chapter 40, Section 14, Chapter 43, Section and Chapter for general municipal purposes and for all purposes and uses accessory thereto, and pay damages in the amount of $4,050,000, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Memhard, seconded by Counselor Gilman. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in, oh, nope, roll call.
Counselor Grow.
Aye.
Counselor Majota.
Yes.
Counselor Memhard.
Aye.
Counselor Nolan.
Aye.
Counselor Worthley.
Aye.
Counselor Benson.
Aye.
Counselor Gilman.
Aye.
Counselor Grace.
Aye.
Counselor Gross.
Aye.
Vote is 9 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion passes.
Very good. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing 25, number 16, recommendations from the Community Preservation Committee, round 15, FY24.
To open the public hearing. Mr. Lundberg, you have the floor.
Councilors, and thank you for having me this evening and the CPC, all told. All right, if I share my screen, I have a series of slides that will back what I'm saying.
Sure. And Councilors, Chairperson Lundberg is going to give us the overview, and then we will take these up as a consent agenda. And members of the different organizations, most of them are available for questions during the questioning period.
Great. All right. Again, thank you for having us this evening. I'm going to give a brief overview of the Community Preservation Act in Gloucester and how it's managed. The CPA is a state law that was passed 25 years ago to encourage municipalities to invest as much as they could in historic preservation, community housing, open space preservation, and outdoor recreation projects. We passed that in Gloucester in 2008, and part of passing it was to pass a 1% surcharge on real estate taxes. The encouragement by the state in adopting the CPA is that the state will match those taxes that we collect. That match varies from 20% to 40% in any given year. It depends on what state revenues look like in any given year. We as a participating municipality in the CPA, we're required to have a Community Preservation Commission. That commission is made up of 9 citizens of Gloucester. 5 of them are representative of other city committees, which are the Conservation Commission, the Planning Board, the Open Space and Recreation Commission, the Historical Commission, and the Gloucester Housing Authority. We have 4 at-large members as well, of which I am one. Our job is to make sure that on an annual basis, we encourage applications from the public. We vet them to make sure that they adhere to the law and that they are in the best interests of the taxpayers and the citizens of Gloucester. So we're excited this year to recommend 12 projects for your approval. And I'm going to speak to each one of them briefly. But in sum, there were 12 projects. 8 are historic preservation projects. 2 are community housing projects, and 2 are outdoor recreation projects. Where appropriate every year, we encourage our grant recipients to make their facilities available to the public for free wherever possible. And it's not always possible, but we're really happy that all of our grant recipients have worked hard to do that. Hammond Castle, who's here this evening, has done that repeatedly in offering free programs for citizens, as has the Schooner Adventure and many other programs that you'll see here tonight and have seen in the past. Just briefly on our timeline, we meet as a committee once a month. We follow a process that's pretty consistent year to year. We presented our recommendations to the City Council's Budget and Finance Committee a couple of months ago, and we're here tonight for final approval. Once that final approval is made, the city enters agreements with each of these grant recipients, and then they are reimbursed once they have submitted invoices for their project expenses. This year, we're recommending a total of $968,000 in project appropriations. They do across 12 different projects. Of those projects, the 8 historic preservation applications are 38% of that total. The housing projects are 26%, and the recreation projects make up 19% of the total $968,000 being granted. All right, first up is the Gloucester Stage Building. Many of you are familiar with this. It is an historic building. Oh, by the way, I should mention that with historic preservation projects, each year we ask the Historical Commission to confirm that the resource that's being applied for is in fact historically significant. And even if it's a building or a resource that's been before us before, we still ask the Historical Commission for it. That's why we have a member of this Historical Commission on the CPC, and buildings change over time. Gloucester Stage is no exception, but like many historic buildings, they do have wear and tear issues. And they need some roof work, HVAC and brickwork, which is not unusual for buildings of its nature. Our grant recommendation for the Gloucester Stage Building this year is $100,000.
May I just ask?
Yes.
Questions are later.
No, it's just a question in terms of process. there are people on Zoom, and there's people here, so could you just mention who they are? And I know that they're not going to speak unless we ask them a question, but it would be nice if you could just acknowledge.
Oh,
them.
certainly. Here this evening representing our grant recipients are Rebecca Bradshaw, the Artistic Director of Gloucester Stage. She's joining us remotely. Here from the Cemeteries Advisory Committee is Chris Maney, who's the Cemetery Advisory Committee Chair. Representing Ocean Alliance is Alyssa Weil. From Manship Artist Residence, Fred Groff, and I think John Giangregorio is here as well. Martha Oakes is here representing Cape Ann Museum. Bob Cannon, the Director of Facilities at the Magnolia Historical Society, is here. Linda Harvey, the Executive Director of Hammond Castle Museum, is here. Bill Barton and Greg Bover are both here from Gloucester Adventure. Larry Oakes, the Chair of the Gloucester Affordable Housing Trust, is joining us remotely. Aaron George is the Director of Program Services at Action Incorporated. Arena McWilliams Lopez is the Executive Director of the YMCA of the North Shore. She's joining us remotely. And Jenny Benedict, the Director of the Gloucester Lyceum and Sawyer Free Library, is here this evening. Our second historical project is the Bayview Cemetery Restoration Project. This is the third of 3 years that we've funded this project. It's been a great project at fairly short money for the volume of work that they've done. They've turned that cemetery into a wonderful place to visit and to reflect. It's really extraordinary the work that they've done. A great combination of just hard blood, sweat, and tears to clear things, and then having experts really do the good work of restoring gravestones. Next up is the Ocean Alliance, also a repeat grant recipients from us. This is, we really like this one because it's targeted. They've done a lot of work on that building, as you all know. And we've done some significant funding. This was a very targeted project, a $45,000 recommendation on brickwork and chimney restoration. It's on top of larger work that's already been done, and it really finishes off some pieces of work that we've seen. I do want to mention that of these 8 historic preservation projects, 7 of them are organizations that are living in historic buildings and working out of historic buildings. And I think we're fortunate in that respect because when they work there, they generate economic activity. And when they do that, we have an opportunity to help them help themselves and keep these buildings alive. So we're really happy they're there and appreciate what they've done. There's always brickwork to be done. Next up is the Manship Artist Residence and Studio. Again, a repeat applicant. Again, an organization that has a master plan that they're following to restore that property and the buildings on it. We've recommended a $30,000 grant on a much larger project, but specifically to restore the granite deck and stairway, which is a portion of their overall work. And I want to mention this one just briefly because one of our jobs on the CPC is to make sure that the applications in front of us are actually adhering to the statute. This project comprises a lot of more work that's not necessarily historic preservation, but the $30,000 we're granting is specifically for $30,000 worth of historic preservation. And when they send their invoices in, the grants department and our grants manager, Zoni Venetsanakos, and myself look at each invoice and make sure that it is in fact an expense that can be reimbursed. That's actually the porch that wrapped around, and it's a pretty interesting porch, and unfortunately it's just about falling apart. So it's a good piece of work to do. Next up is the Cape Ann Museum and the Babson Alling House. An interesting project. They've done a lot of work to restore that building so far. The next step is to make sure that then they do the paint restoration work that they need to do is historically accurate. We appreciate this. This is not a level of detail that a lot of applicants go through, but it's the museum and that's the way they do business. They also, what's relevant for us too is that their grant requests are usually for half or less, sometimes significantly less of their entire project cost. And that's good for us. We like to see our city funds leveraged by privately donated funds as well. Next up is the Magnolia Historical Society. I don't know if you are familiar with this building, but it's a charming small museum, and it's really worth a visit. And this is the second time they've been to the CPA for funds. The last one was 6, 7 years ago, I think. And this is probably the second or third ADA restroom that we've funded. It's really, it's fully eligible under the statute and really important for museums, particularly ones where we have a lot of senior citizens in town and we want to make sure we maintain access to those buildings. This one is that. Next up is the Hammond Castle Museum. The museum's been before us several times over the last 10 years. It's a significant property, as you all know. It needs a significant amount of work, and the current project they're tackling is the rose window wall. There are a lot of components to it. It's a large grant request. It's a large recommendation for us, but we feel very confident with it. The museum's been an exceptional steward of CPA funds, and we really appreciate the work they've done. Also, they leverage their private donations well, and they've gone to great lengths to make the museum more available to the general public on free days and children's programs, and we really appreciate that. Next up is the Schooner Adventure. We've previously funded keel restoration or a rudder restoration. This is part of a much larger project that the Adventure is embarking into. I should mention, whenever we have applications, we schedule site visits where appropriate. We've been to the Adventure when it's in the water and out of the water. Last year, we saw it when it was in dry dock over on Rocky Neck, and it was really illustrative to understand where this money's going. They've done a superb job, and I think that project's already started, not the part that we fund, but well, the Adventure is always ongoing, and a never-ending project to keep that seaworthy. And that's our historic preservation projects. Next up are 2 housing projects. The first one is to grant $100,000 to the Affordable Housing Trust. CPCs and Affordable Housing Trusts have worked together in many cities and towns across Massachusetts. We haven't done so far, but we began talking with each other 2 years ago. And then last year, more in earnest and with specifics tied to it. We talked about moving as much as a third of our overall budget to the Affordable Housing Trust. We elected to recommend $100,000 in this funding cycle for a couple of reasons. One is that we have a lot of demands on our funds. I mentioned that the overall grant tonight is $968,000. We had almost $1.7 million in requests, and so we've got to make hard decisions in several places. The other piece is that at the time, the Affordable Housing Trust was very busy with the large amount of funds that they were shepherding and also building their process. We're excited to work with them next year, and they've also requested about 30% of our overall budget, and in this grant cycle coming up, that may happen. Next, another housing project, the third or fourth year, I think the 4th year in a row that we've recommended funding Action Incorporated's tenant-based rental mortgage assistance program. This program is so well run and it's so needed to help people who have an unexpected catastrophic life event that has the potential to move them out of their houses, and action helps them get through it. We love this program and they do wonderful work with it, and they've done a great job building other sources of funds as well. So we heartily endorse this program. And finally, 2 recreation projects. The first is at Camp Spindrift, the YMCA of the North Shore runs. It's a woodland play structure that is a perfect recipient of recreation funds. We're excited by this one. Last year, we had no recreation projects, which just nobody applied, but we've done a lot over the last 5 years, and we're really happy that the YMCA came forward this year. It's a $200,000 project, and our recommendation is to fund $75,000 of that. And finally, the outdoor public gardens at the library. Final component of the library's renovation and capital project. No CPA funds went to that project, the capital and development project. But this is an outdoor recreation space. It's available to all, open to the public all the time. We had previously funded some work on that same space a number of years ago. So we are happy to support that project this year. And again, it's the second of our 2 recreation projects. And with that, I will take any questions, but that's the conclusion of my presentation. Thank you again all for your attention.
Okay. Anyone else who wants to speak in favor of these? Anyone who would like to speak in opposition? Do we have any communications, Madam Clerk?
We do not have any.
All right, questions from the counselors? Being none, I guess we are ready for the vote there. Councilor members.
Close the public hearing.
Oh, discussion. Well, I mean, have the motion first. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Close the
Oh, close the public hearing. Forget that piece all the time. And then can we have the motion, please, Councilor Memard?
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. Our motion is to accept the round 15 fiscal year 2024 Community Preservation Committee recommendations as a consent agenda. And I so move.
Motion made by Councilor Memard, seconded by Councilor Grow. All right, discussion. Councilor Worthley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate the work that you've done and your committee has done. And every time you come before the Budget and Finance Committee and the council, every T is crossed and every I is dotted. I appreciate how hard your job is too, because even though it feels good to be in the position of giving out money, you also have to say no to a lot of organizations, or in many cases, we see the request is X and your offer or an offer you're awarding is less than that, because you're balancing all the other kind of needs that we have in the community. So at any point, if any of the applicants are feeling not appreciated or supported, we should at least say thank you for what we do have and what you're able to do. And I know that's not always easy for you and your committee, but if you could send thanks to your committee members as well, I'd certainly appreciate that. I'm sure the council would. I'd like to thank all the applicants for their hard work in getting to this point. It's not easy when you're applying for things and putting forward all the details that are necessary to get to this point. I also want to note that in each of the cases, there is a project cost, which is some number, and your request is typically a lot less than that because your organizations are funding a lot of the effort on your own. And so I appreciate that this might help that, but you're doing the lion's share of the work. So I just wanted to commend you for that. I think lastly, we should always recognize that this money comes from taxpayers. And, you know, we always wonder, like, where's our money going? This money is going specifically to where it's allocated to go. And it's coming from taxpayers and through the state preservation fund grant, which is also paid for by people who are doing real estate transactions. So I think this is wonderful, and it's the chance that we have where we're saying yes to people and supporting the work that you're doing. And I just want to thank the committee again, the applicants, and all the taxpayers. Thank you.
Councilor Nolan.
So again, Matt, you and CPC do a wonderful job. The videos we're able to watch for the applicants makes a big difference in how fast things move. I can say that I've been to or have used every person that has applied tonight for grants, and each and every one of them have their individual place in the city. And I want to thank you for all the hard work. I think people are going to be very happy and very deserving.
Councilor Grow.
Just very quickly, Matt, I just want to thank you. I'm a big fan of the CBA. Wish we had done it a little higher, but we have what we have. And I just want to thank you and the CPC, the commission, for the integrity of the process, the seriousness at which you take the applications and the vetting process, and being good stewards of these funds and really putting them into places that are really going to be a benefit for the entire community. So just thank you in general for that.
Councilor Gilman.
One of the things that's always been really important to me when we evaluate these possible CPA grants is that we think about our taxpayers and how they feel about 1% of the money that they put aside. And one of the things that I've always appreciated is the amount of programs that all of these organizations do for all of the residents of Gloucester. And that really has been a big improvement over the years from when we first started it. And every one of your organizations on this list today does wonderful things for our community, programs that are free for people that might not have been able to afford these opportunities to go to these venues. And that's very appreciated. So thank you for doing all that. And of course, to you, Matt, and your team for just doing a stellar job. Once again, thank you.
Councilor Grace.
Just thank you so much for your hard work. You know, so many of these organizations and buildings that are getting grants are iconic to this community. And, you know, for instance, if the paint factory suddenly wasn't there anymore, it would be sorely missed. So, you know, this is money well spent to preserve our history and to, you know, bring us into the future. So thank you.
Councilor Benson.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you. This is very important. And again, as Councilor Grace has just alluded to, is the assets that so many of these funds will be going to. I was at Hammond Castle recently and talking to my and talking about the amount of tourism that comes in, and also what we're hearing from Action, the money that's helping so many people, including I know folks that have been able to get assistance that this money's going to, folks, including in my own family who have struggled. So I really appreciate that. And this, again, all of these programs are such an asset to our community. And as, again, as Councilor Grace said, they are a treasure. Thank you.
Councilor Majota.
As all the other councilors said, I just want to say thank you to you and thank you for all for staying this late.
Yes, and I'll just echo what everyone has said. Thank you for the CPC and the recipients, most importantly, for all they do, because they have to, where the taxpayer money gives them, you know, maybe pushes them over the top, they still have to do an awful lot of legwork to make these projects come to fruition. So thank you very much for that. And that's it. Anybody else? Okay, roll call. Oh, roll call? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? You guys have it 9-0. Thank you very much, everyone. You're welcome to stay if you want to. If you need take a nap or. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing 25, number 17, Council Order 25, number 12, Benson, amend GCO Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Section 22-270, parking prohibited at all times, and Section 22-291, tow-away zones by deleting Pleasant Street, westerly side, beginning at a point 130 feet from its intersection with Warren Street in a northerly direction for a distance of 25 feet, and Section 22-279, 30-minute parking by adding Pleasant Street, westerly side, beginning at a point 130 feet from its intersection with Warren Street in a northerly direction for a distance of 25 feet.
We'll open the public hearing. Council Benson, you would like to speak in favor?
Yes, I will. And I just for point of reference, I've put on the screen the parking spot that's in question. And this map is a little bit older. So this spot was taken away. And now we're looking to get this space back. But the space in question would allow 30-minute parking and is located directly in front of the insurance company here. This was previously a designated spot. It hasn't been available for some time, but if restoring it for limited parking would add a real convenience, not just to the insurance company that's requested this, but to other nearby businesses as well. But to speak to the insurance company, Carroll Steel Insurance has been a longstanding business, as I spoke at O&A, and a full-service agency. They have a great deal of walk-in interaction with their clients. The majority of them are less than 30 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes. Having the convenience for their clients to utilize a parking space in front of their office for a limited amount of time would be extremely beneficial for both the agency and the people they serve, which a lot of them are in our community. And again, a lot of these folks are the 30-minute parking. They're coming the hours that this insurance company is open. A lot of the folks that they serve, they're working during the day, and this was also spoken to at O&A. With their growth, hiring additional employees, it has exacerbated the current parking availability. So this would be a positive sign, an increased need for short-term parking options. And I know there was an email that was circulated this morning. Again, I'm no traffic design expert. I'm no parking expert. But as we see here on the Google Maps, in my view, there is ample space for what you're seeing here in question. And just to kind of close up, to me, I don't think there's any interference with the traffic flow. While the business does have a lot, there's a lot more activity, and this additional short-term parking spot makes sense to me. And lastly, this idea that there'll be a burden to law enforcement. There's many spots across the city that have 30-minute parking. There doesn't seem to be a lot of evidence to support that this is going to burden our police department. In short, there is a reasonable and practical improvement that would benefit this local business and the surrounding areas. Again, if someone needs to park for a few minutes to go into grandma's house, wherever, this will help. So thank you.
Anyone else like to speak in favor?
I believe that Chris from Carroll Steel was to be on Zoom, but he may not be there, but just if you wanted to check. Okay.
Anyone who wants to speak in opposition? Okay, communications, Madam Clerk.
There are no communications.
Came in before the deadline. Okay, questions from counselors? For Counselor Benson. Counselor Grow.
I'm a little flummoxed as to why we're looking at reinstating a parking space that was taken away less than 7 years ago. I mean, this picture is dated October 2018. Do we have any reference as to why that space was taken away to begin with?
From my understanding, it was at a request from the actual insurance company. That's from my historical records. And now there's the son is the owner, from my understanding. That is why it was taken away from what I've looked at. Again, I looked at some records from previous why it was taken away.
Franco.
Well, I guess, I'm not sure if it's too late, but I mean, we got an email from Bob Ryan. Is there any reason why he's not speaking and why this parking spot was eliminated? Or is it too late for him to sort of clarify based on the email? He is online, just if he's like paying attention, can you explain a little bit more? If that's okay, just to clarify the
Bob, can
email.
you raise your hand, or can you bring in Bob Ryan? Oh.
Bob, are you there?
You hear the question, Bob? You're muted, Bob.
I need to take up the screen. Okay.
Bob, did you hear the question?
No, I did not. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you now.
Frank, you want to, Frank's gonna, Councilman Majota gonna ask
Yeah.
you the question again.
Yeah,
Sure.
so you've been on the traffic commission. Why was this parking spot eliminated? And can you just sort of go on with your email?
Well, there's a good shot of one of the reasons why it was eliminated. If you look on your left-hand side of the picture, the owner at that time, Mr. Steve Dexter, came to us. He felt that it was very unsafe. Mirrors were being popped off of vehicles passing. And there's a good picture right there. You have that red car on the right, silver one to the left of that. And look at the truck coming down the street. Now, if we have a car parked next to that meter, you mean to tell me both vehicles can pass without an issue? I mean, that's very difficult. He came to us and asked that it be removed, and that's what we did. Again, I physically measured it. It's only 15 feet from car to car. If there's one parked on the east side, one's parked on the west side, you only have 15 feet and you can't pass. You have to dodge. The Traffic Commission meeting on March 27th, again, in my email, I indicated it was unanimous not to recommend. Carol Steele's has an adequate parking lot in the back of the building. The City of Gloucester's Warren Street public lot is 100 feet away. Not too many businesses in the city have the luxury of 2 parking lots. And we feel it's not, we don't want to jeopardize the safety of the public, and that's the position we took. Does that answer your question, Frank?
Yes, it does. Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. Ryan.
okay, all right.
Councilor Worthley.
Thank you. I appreciate that prior question because that was one on my list. But the next question would be, if this were to pass, how will we measure 30-minute parking where I don't know, are the kiosks programmed per parking spot, or is it universal? I don't know how that would differentiate 30-minute parking on a kiosk versus the other 2-hour parking. Do we know that answer?
I mean, I know the kiosk can make changes. From my understanding from talking to folks in the administration, is that there is a way to program certain areas. So I think that can happen.
I'm aware that it can be done per area. I'm not aware that it could be done per specific spot. So it's a question that it can remain unanswered. I just wondered how we'd make sure it was only 30-minute parking. And so the question was answered on, it was the owner's father who had asked for this to be removed before. So, okay, I understand that now. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Gelman.
So I have a question in terms of how the staff at Carol Steele feels now about this, seeing that it had been eliminated because of a leader back 7 years ago. Like why has that changed? Like what has the team and the leadership of Carol Steele said that this is something that they want back?
This is something that the reason I brought this forward was because folks from Carroll Steel had asked me to bring this forward. And then working with the solicitor's office, writing this up and actually speaking to the chairman of the Traffic Commission to get a historical outlook on what this was. That is why this was brought forward. And again, they've expanded and they are looking to have a 30-minute spot in front of their office. Does that answer the question? Or?
It does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Council Majota.
How many parking spots are available in their parking lot?
Well, I know that they also have their employees parking in the parking lot. But if I'm seeing here, because also it is worth noting that I believe that this area here where I'm pointing is the Cape Ann Museum. If someone could maybe, for point of references, anyone can correct me if I'm, thank you, Counselor. And then over here, if you see, so this is the Cape Ann Museum. This would be this is their lot here, from my understanding. Yeah, and then this is also, so they have several, again, as I spoke to, their continued growth. There's also the spot, I believe this is also, oops. I'm doing like what I did last time, right?
Need to get you a mouse.
Whoops.
It was
Let's go
about
up.
eight spots.
Yeah, and then that again is Cape Ann Museum.
Thank you for the Google. Actually, it really does help. I
Yeah,
appreciate
so
that.
yeah, so again, this is again why they're asking for that 30 minutes is because a lot of their clients are coming in for very short periods of time, and again, other businesses will benefit as well, in my opinion. I do respect the Traffic Commission, but again, I think that there seems to, from my understanding, what I see here is there seems to be ample space. But again, to your question is, there isn't a significant amount of parking in the back for the business, and that 30-minute spot would help a lot of people that are coming in, going out, coming in, going out. And again, with enforcement, just to go on enforcement too, is like the majority of the people that will park there are not going to be parking there for 2-3 hours. They're going to be parking there to go into this business. And a lot of folks, as we said in O&A, a lot of these folks have a day job, and they're going during their lunch to go and pay their insurance, get questions on it, et cetera.
Councilor Grace.
Is the parking lot that the business owns, is that free parking for their customers?
From my understanding it would be free parking, but again, there's also several people that work there, so I think they're parking in the back.
In the door that's on the side, is that a functional door or a fire escape?
It used to be functional.
I believe it is. I mean, when I went in there to meet with them, I did see people going in that door, so I believe it is a functional
So
door.
it's fairly close to the parking lot.
But again, it also is, that parking lot is, the 8 spots is also for employees. So I think that's important to note. And again, this 30-minute spot will also help. If you look here, if I may, it will also help businesses here. It may even help people that are going into the museum to get a gift. There's also some businesses down the road that also someone could be going in for less than 30 minutes.
Just holding that picture, if I can, the way you have it right now, it's very clear, as Mr. Ryan pointed out, that there is not adequate room for 2 vehicles to pass. Well, I believe he described it as 15 feet between a vehicle parked in that proposed spot and the spot on the opposite side of the street. That's a good picture relating to that.
I mean, if you look here, though, this spot right here, where there isn't, this spot right here.
Yeah, this is where we need to close the public
Yeah.
hearing here. This is,
Yep.
so any more, this is questions time, not discussion time. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Okay, now would you read the committee report, please? Councilor Nolan.
On a motion by Council Majota, seconded by Council Nolan, the Ordinance Administration Committee voted 2 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent, to recommend the City Council amend the Gloucester Code, this is Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Section 22-270, parking prohibited at all times, and Section 22-291, towaway zones, by deleting Pleasant Street on the westerly side, beginning at a point of 130 feet from its intersection with Warren Street in a northerly direction for a distance of 25 feet, and I so move.
Second. Motion made by Councilor Nolan, seconded by Councilor Majota. Discussion.
Mr. President?
Yes, Councilor Majota.
I just want to say that our recommendation came before the Traffic and Traffic Committee did meet. So the information that we just got from Mr. Ryan and the Traffic Commission was not given to us prior to our recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think they voted, the Traffic Commission voted, but not the email that you got. They did vote not to recommend it. And then we had the discussion, from my understanding, Chair Nolan, if also, and then you received the communication today. Obviously, that was before, that was after.
Councilor Memard.
I would say that based on the Traffic Commission's recommendations, I will not be supporting this proposal. I think it's simply too narrow. It creates a safety hazard on that corner. It's a very busy street. The earlier photograph showed a delivery truck coming down one side of it, and it's just a busy street, and I don't think there's enough room to afford a space on that side, as has been described. There is also the parking lot behind, and there's also the Warren Street public parking lot as well. And I'm in support of the Traffic Commission's recommendation and the initial reason for removing this space for safety reason.
Councilor Grace.
I was at that meeting, the Traffic Commission, and, you know, on that commission, there is a member of the DPW, there's a member of the fire department, there's a member of the police department, all of which, you know, agreed that the safety here and the convenience of 15 minutes isn't worth the safety, in my opinion. Sorry. Somebody asked a question about how you would enforce the 30-minute, and according to the police officer that is on the commission, you can't. It would be unenforceable because you can't differentiate on the kiosk. There's one spot that's for 30 minutes, so it would require somebody, you know, being basically diligent for the entire day to make sure that that wasn't being abused. So.
Councilor Worthley.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I want to thank Councilor Benson for his advocacy for downtown businesses and for your constituents. I came to this meeting looking for ways to be supportive of this. And, you know, we took away some parking on Parker Street because we didn't think that it would be appropriate for a private business to be using public parking exclusively or primarily exclusively. And I think we all love Carol Steele and the Dexter family and all that they do for the community. This vote certainly is not reflective of any disappointment in them. They're pillars of our community. But I also do see that their customers and their employees have lots of parking and lots of options. Coincidentally, just about a week ago, I felt like I nearly got run off the road by a delivery truck coming down the street. Pleasant Street is a very busy street. I wouldn't call it a main thoroughfare, but it's pretty close to it in terms of feeding Main Street. And so I'm going to agree with the Traffic Commission's recommendation in voting no, but I don't want to this reflect poorly on the advocacy that you're doing for downtown. Thank you.
What else? Councilor Gilman.
So I am definitely conflicted right now, but I will say that I had my side mirror clipped off in a narrow road on East Main Street, and it cost me $800 to repair. And I was in the little convenience store, and somebody clipped me at a spot where they couldn't fit 2 cars. I'm also a little bit concerned that the car that is in the video is very small, and the pickup trucks today have side mirrors that are probably about 12 inches long. I mean, Councilor Nolan, how wide? Tell us how fat a pickup truck is in terms of the side mirror.
It's about 12 to 13 inches, but when I park, I fold them in.
You're so smart. Anyway, I am conflicted. Yeah.
More discussion? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
No. Motion fails. 1 in favor, 8 in opposition.
So we don't need to read the second.
No.
You should anyways, okay. All right, on a motion by Councilman Mazzotra, second by Councilor Nolan, the Ordinance and Administration Committee voted 2 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent, to record the City Council amend Gloucester Code Ordinances, Section 22-279, 30-minute parking by adding Pleasant Street on a westerly side, beginning at a point of 130 feet from its intersection with Warren Street in a northerly direction for a distance of 25 feet, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Nolan, seconded by Councilor Majota. Any discussion on this? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion fails. 1 in favor, 8 in opposition. Okay, next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing 2025, number 18, Council Order 2025, number 16, Grace. Amend GCO Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Section 22-270, Parking Prohibited at All Times, and 22-291, Tow-Away Zones by adding parking prohibited on Bertoni Road, easterly side, from its intersection with York Road to its intersection with Poplar Street from November 1st to April 1st.
We'll open the public hearing. Those speaking in favor, Councilor Grace?
Thank you. This basically came about during the series of storms that we had this winter. And Paula, thank you so much for your patience and staying here so long, and we appreciate you. What happened was there's the snow accumulates on the side. The road is fairly narrow. There's people from other neighborhoods or other roads that were parking on Bertoni Road. They were blocking the way for school buses and for emergency vehicles to get down there. The neighborhood did try to resolve this by, saying, people, can you please, do the right thing and not park there, which basically ended up with some nasty comments being made to each other or to Paula's mom, which was unfortunate. So the request was put in basically to make this safe for the school bus. The little backstory is at one point in time, the bus went down there. It was not able to continue, couldn't get around, and Paula had to go out and literally direct the bus to back out onto Poplar Street. She was almost run over by a car speeding down the road. She has a small daughter that has to take this bus, and because the bus could not go down that road for the rest of the time that there was snow blocking the road, she had to bring her daughter from the far end of the street all the way down in the inclement weather down to Poplar Street, where it was extremely unsafe for the bus to be stopping and picking up students. And if Paula has something to say, you have to go to the podium. Sorry.
Are you done? I mean,
Yeah, that's basically it, and then she can fill in the blanks.
anyone else
gotta
want to
go.
speak in favor? Speak your name and address, and please speak into the microphone.
Hi.
So you have to move the microphone because otherwise it doesn't get recorded. Oh,
My name
sorry.
is Paula Mulcahy. I live on Bertoni Road. And I pretty much brought this as a safety issue, just in the wintertime. I don't want to bother anybody. We tried to resolve it. Didn't happen. And especially for emergency vehicles too. I mean, it's one thing to have to walk down with the bus with the special needs, but there's elderly people who live in the neighborhood. So that could be a matter of minutes for a heart attack. Everybody knows that. Every minute counts. So when the bus got stuck, I literally had to go back it up. The bus driver nor the aide could get off. They were stuck there. They couldn't go forward. They couldn't go back, holding up all the school and everything else. So pretty much, I was just hoping that you would put a sign there.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? we have any communications, Madam Clerk?
There are no communications.
Questions from counselors? Okay, I will close the public hearing. Have the committee report, please. Council Nolan.
On a motion by Council Majota, seconded by Councilor Nolan, the Ordinance Administration Committee voted 2 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent to recommend the City Council amend the Gloucester Code of Ordinances, Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Section 22-270, parking prohibited at all times, and 22-291, tollway zones by adding parking prohibited on Bertoni Road, on the easterly side from its intersection with York Road to its intersection with Poplar Street from November 1st to April 1st, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Nolan, seconded by Councilor Worthley. Any discussion? Councilor Nolan.
So first of all, like I said at ONA, this is very weird that we're actually doing a no parking request on the opposite side of our summer. However, I do know the area and I know exactly what you're talking about. It's very hard for the city to remove snow in some areas on smaller roads to make it passable and accessible for turning and entering and exiting for buses. So I clearly understand this, and I will be voting to support this tonight. Thank you.
Councilor Worthley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to your Ward 3 City Councilor, Councilor Grace, for bringing this to our attention and working with the neighborhood. I love your neighborhood, I love your family, and I love your advocacy for this. This is a very quiet neighborhood until it's not, right? And I think this makes it a lot safer for everybody in the neighborhood, so I will be voting yes for this.
Great. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0. Thank you, Paula.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you for sticking around.
Hope it was interesting. Okay, next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing 25, number 14, proposed amendments to Division 11, City Hall Restoration Commission, Sections 2-523 and 2-525, continued from April 8th, 2025.
Open the public hearing. Do we have anyone to speak in favor? Okay, do we have anyone to speak in opposition? Do we have any communications, Madam Clerk?
No, we don't.
Do the councilors have questions to all those in favor and in opposition?
On list.
Can we, Council President, and we've actually discussed this too about the alternate members, what, are they voting members, or with this specific one, what is their role? Just so I understand.
Well, do we want to close the public hearing first and have this in the discussion?
Yeah, we
piece?
can, sure.
Yeah. I'm going to close the public hearing. Councilor Nolan.
All right. You want to hear the recommendation?
Sorry, for the recommendation, we read this before. Could we just read the recommendation and leave out the rest of it to save time? Since we've read this, I believe, several times. And we know more.
I don't mind. Either way, I'll read the whole thing. Or I can just read the add and strikes. For Bob, Ryan, and Mary Ann Boucher.
What are you asking for, Frank?
Just to read the recommendation and leave out the part, because this is continued and we already read A, B, C, D.
Except doesn't.
As noted.
I'm okay with that, but people get to ask questions, so.
That's fine.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Read, yep. Sure, I put it on the screen.
On a motion by Council Nolan, second by Councilor Grace, the Ordinance Administration Committee voted 3 in favor, 0 opposed, to recommend the City Council amend Gloucester Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Section 523, created terms, compensation, officers' duties, and section 2-525, monthly reports as followed. And I so move.
Motion made by Counselor Nolan, seconded by Counselor Majota. Do you want to speak on the committee report?
I do. So on this report, with the add for the alternates and the change from the members, it's keeping the alternates at the same level as we would have had before, but we're lowering basically the requirement of the members of the committee so we can build a quorum. We haven't been able to build a quorum in this committee, so we're shrinking it like we have in a few other committees in the past. The alternates will basically be moving at the same pace as what we're changing from the real. And this is just to try to keep things moving because we have a lot of work on the city hall that needs to be done. And we've got people that are losing interest in being on the board because they can't meet the quorum and they don't actually meet. So this is basically just bringing the numbers down to allow us to have a quorum that will hopefully be able to fill and have active meetings to get things done.
To understand though.
Can I answer your question? There's no such thing as a non-voting alternate member. When they step up when a member can't make a meeting, they fill in with full privileges. So there's no such thing as a non-voting alternate member. They can't vote when there's a quorum and they're not sitting as a full member, but when they are filling in, they have all of the same privileges as a full member.
I understood it, but that way, but I just wanted, I think, because there's been a lot of confusion, so I appreciate that.
There has been.
And I think it's important, so, because people have been asking me and we've chatted about this, so I'm glad, Council President, that you cleared it up, so, thank you.
I mean, other than when the ordinance specifies, like in here, it says city employees are not voting members. There are non-voting members.
They're acting as an ex officio to the.
Well, ex officio has a couple of different
because that's
definitions. Ex officio can vote sometimes. So.
Yeah, but they're not, they're non-voting members.
President, quick question if I may.
That's worthly.
Thank you. I'm not aware of any other board or commission in the city where the mayor picks the chairperson. I don't know if that's, and I don't want to muddy this, but
I think there is. I think that's it's just an anomaly in the ordinances, and it's not before us tonight to change that.
What's that?
It's not before us tonight to change that. I guess we can make an amendment, but.
I mean, the chairperson, vice chairperson being appointed, I don't have an objection to it. I just think it's a little odd that in every other case, I think the committees pick their own chairperson. And I wouldn't know, and maybe Ms. Poirier knows why this committee has the mayor's authority on that.
I don't know why.
Yeah, and I don't think that, I know I've seen it also, and I don't think I've just seen it in this context, but it is an anomaly.
Yeah, I can't think of where else it is either. Okay, on the motion, if I may continue. Mayor and I have spoken a number of times about the difficulty in finding volunteers, which is kind of at the root of a lot of the desire to make the quorum smaller, is because we are struggling in some cases. And that's not uncommon with any nonprofit, especially after COVID. A lot of people saw their volunteering as part of their social life, and then with social distancing and not being as involved in committees, we've lost a lot of people, and all the nonprofit boards have been struggling too. But I do think we should be aware that we can do more to promote volunteerism and advocacy for people stepping up if they know that there's opportunities. And so instead of just making the quorum smaller, we should do more outreach to the best of our ability to get more people to volunteer. I'm sure the mayor's doing that. I think the council can do that. We should all be doing that. But I will be supporting this so that the committee can function more effectively.
Thank you. Anyone else with questions on this? And we're okay to take it as presented? Yay. Sean made the motion and Frank seconded. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, 9-0. So I've handled the next two. So, Madam, next order of business, Madam Clerk.
For council vote to withdraw special permit number 2025-003 Essex Avenue, number 52 and number 74, map 218, lots 118 and 119 for a special permit for a drive-through facility.
Who wants to make the motion?
Move to withdraw without prejudice the application of special council permit 2025-003 Essex Avenue, number 52, excuse me, and 74, map 218, lots 118 and 119 for a special permit for a drive-through facility.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Gross, seconded by Counselor Worthley. Discussion?
I think we ever saw this.
It has not gone to council yet. It was submitted and it was with the request to withdraw was before it even hit an agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it 9-0. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
For council vote, Susan Roberts writes appointment to the Gloucester Historical Committee. This is being returned to City Council because at the March 25th meeting, only amendment to correct committee to commission was voted on and the motion as amended was not voted on.
Okay.
Yep, move to update the appointment to Susan Roberts Wright to the Gloucester Historical Commission from a voted member to a non-voted member, term to end 2/15/2026, and I so move.
Second.
Okay. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it 9-0. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
That is a discussion led by Councilor Gross regarding using the Rose Baker Senior Center as a location for city council meetings during summer months.
Okay, it's open for discussion.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Grow.
I know it's cooler, but I frankly hated it when we were in there before. I think the acoustics were terrible. The screen was terrible to see, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care where we meet.
Counselor Worthley.
Yes, so I love City Hall, and I think there's something special as being here. But I think for all of us, for the staff, for the public, this room can be unbearable in the summer. And I agree with Councilor Grow that we should be cognizant of the acoustics and the visuals at the senior center. But between the excessive heat in this building and the better parking at Rose Baker, I would love to see this be something we formalize. I don't know if you need a vote or if it's just a decision the council president gets to make, but I'm fully in support. Wherever we meet, we are there, right? We are where we are, and a quorum of the council can meet in any location. And I don't feel like the majesty of this building makes us any better or lesser if we're in a different location. So I support the move for maybe July 1st on till get to the budget process here, and then July 1st to, I don't know, September 1st. Although it can be hot days in September too. I support it.
Okay. More discussion? Counselor Benson.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think Counselor Grow makes good points about the acoustics and some other issues that I remember. I mean, at the same time, it's freezing cold here in the winter. So maybe we should move in the winter too. I'm just teasing because you always tease me every moment of every day. I'm just teasing. It seems like, but anyway. With that being said, I mean, it gets very hot in here. But again, I mean, I don't really care, but yeah, I don't care. Either way is fine.
Counselor Grace.
As much as I love the majesty of City Hall, I love not being hot more. You can put a sweater on. There's only so much you can take off.
Wow. Any other discussion on this?
Do you need a vote of the council to make this decision?
Well, I think maybe should we move it forward to the next meeting for a formal vote? Yeah. Yeah. Just had to start the conversation. Give everybody a heads up. Cool. Okay. Cool? Is that what you want?
Oh, exactly.
Remember, there is some, you got to think about people with health issues too. And not just us, but the audience.
Let's bring blocks of ice.
Make them anymore.
Yeah, I know, that's right.
Okay. Next up is the,
There were the letters that Counselor Gilman was going to,
oh,
we talk a little bit
right.
more about.
Yep. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'll be quick. So this is for council vote, but what I'd like to do is just quickly read the letters. They're very brief. The first is to the MMA CEO and Executive Director, Adam Chapdelaine. Dear Director Chapdelaine, thank you for attending the March 24th, 2025 Ways and Means meeting to advocate for our state's education priorities. As your office continues to work with our state legislators on setting our state's fiscal 26 budget priorities, the Gloucester City Council urges MMA's support for the following critical education initiatives. 1, fully fund circuit breaker. Gloucester Public Schools face growing pressure from rising special education out-of-district tuition and transportation costs. Fully funding circuit breaker will help sustain vital services and specialized staff for our students. 2, increase Chapter 70 per pupil aid. We urge raising the governor's proposed $75 per pupil to $150 per pupil as identified in MMA's April newsletter. As a district receiving only minimum increases, every additional dollar is crucial to our city's operating budget. This increase to $150 per pupil will impact 245 of 318 districts in Massachusetts. 3, MMA's support of the Chapter 70 Foundation Review Commission, which is being sponsored by Senator Tarr. The current funding formula is outdated and fails to meet the needs of communities like Gloucester. A review commission is urgently needed to ensure a fair and accurate funding system. Thank you for your continued budget and finance advocacy at MMA. Our city council deeply appreciates your leadership, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Gilman, seconded by Counselor Worthley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0.
In the second, oh, and we can sign it. Is this the right one to sign, Grace? Yeah, okay, thank you. And the second one, I'll be quicker. This is to Ann Margaret and Bruce. Dear Senator Tarr and Representative Ferrante, as you begin setting our state's fiscal 26 budget priorities, the Gloucester City Council urges your support for the following critical education initiatives. Fully fund circuit breaker. Gloucester Public Schools face growing pressure from rising special ed out-of-district tuition and transportation. Fully funding circuit breaker will help sustain vital services and specialized staff for our students. 2, increase Chapter 70 per pupil aid. Just to let you know, I'm paraphrasing what Senator Tarr said at the meeting here. We urge raising the governor's proposed $75 per pupil to at least $130. As a district receiving only minimum increases, every additional dollar is crucial to our operating budget. 3, support the Chapter 70 Foundation Review Commission. And I said that in the last one. And we thank you for your continued advocacy and commitment to Gloucester students and schools. Appreciate your leadership. It's also copied to Michael Rodriguez from the Senate, Joanne Comerford, Senate Vice Chair, and Aaron Mashowitz, House Chair. And I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Gilman, seconded by Counselor Nolan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, 9-0.
Thank you, Val.
Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Counselor's request to the mayor.
Hey, Counselor Grow.
I don't have anything for the mayor, but I want to take this opportunity to remind people that the Open Doors Empty Bowl dinner is on May 1st. That's next Thursday. a week from Thursday. You can get tickets at their website at foodpantry.org. The theme this year is Enchanted Forest. It's always a great event. It's a terrific event for your family and your kids. There's all sorts of great activities. There's the bowl auctions. But mostly it's an important time to reflect on what it's like to be without food and to be food insecure, and to be grateful for the opportunities that we have not to be food insecure. So go buy tickets, give as much as you can, and enjoy the event because it's always spectacular. And it's at the cruise port, by the way, just in case.
Next. My request is if they can have a conversation about Viking Street, just on the lower hill, for drainage purposes. Thank you.
Councilman Memard.
I have no requests, so just a thank you to the mayor and the DPW director for working with residents on Harriet and Grapevine Roads, who organized the betterment petition to not only repave a terrible portion of the road, but also improve the drainage that caused severe potholes and icing and drainage issues and an overall safety hazard, which have been beautifully addressed thanks to the community members who worked with the DPW and engineering, the council, and the administration.
Councilman Nolan.
I have no requests. I just want to thank the DPW. They've done a great job opening up our parks and our ball fields for our team play. And our cemeteries are starting to look wonderful. And I just want to thank them for all their hard work. And also generous gardeners. Absolutely fantastic. It's early and it already looks fantastic. Thank you.
Councilor Worthley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to echo what Councilor Memhard just said regarding the betterment effort and supporting administration, but I also want to commend Councilor Memhard for pulling that together, because it probably wouldn't have happened without the ward councilor's advocacy and hard work on that. So you deserve some thanks for that too. And I'm sure we'll be seeing a request for reducing speeding limits at some point.
Just don't hold me responsible for knocking down the East Gloucester School.
You did it single-handedly, right?
Raised with a Z.
Right. So I'd like to put a request in the administration to see if they can provide some help to the softball leagues that use the oval playground right off of Centennial Ave. I think it's city-owned property, but I'm not quite sure how that works. But and then I put a request in, but I want to say it here, so maybe others can help join in at some point. The I guess it's Pavilion Beach, the side that starts near the boulevard side. There's a public landing there, and people who are walking the boulevard and continue walking over the parking lot, it's really all crumbled. And a couple of times people have been twisting ankles, and I want to make sure that we address that before someone gets hurt. So it's a combination, maybe city, state. I'm not sure how the landing works, but I know that it's not safe right now. So I just want to put my request in again. I think I've requested a couple of times, but I want to bring it to everyone's attention that that's something that is a safety concern. Thank you.
Councilor Benson.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Councilor Gilman.
Two quick things. First of all, the sidewalk in front of George's needs to be repainted quickly because it's almost completely faded out. And I've seen several close calls there. So I know that Public Works has a schedule for painting, but I think that particular spot needs attention. Number one. And the other thing,
Sidewalk?
oh, what, I'm sorry. I meant crosswalk. Thank you, Councilor Nolan. I appreciate it. It's the cross. No, we don't want to paint the cross. That would be a problem. Thank you for rolling with me. The other thing I wanted to just say is let's just go back to our code of conduct and just let's all read it and just remind everybody that we talk to that we have to be kind to each other. I'm not talking right now that people in the council are not kind, but there's a lot of unkind people in the community right now, and it's just really tough. And so as we told these youth initiative leaders today, we have to walk the talk. And when we feel that people are not being nice to each other, do the best you can to bring that to their attention. It's much easier to talk about issues than personalities and nastiness. So just my 2 cents. Let's be kind. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Grace.
It's a couple things. First of all, I just wanted to thank the mayor, the school committee, the Gloucester Police Department, and the Health Department, and the youth leadership program for the meeting that they held at O'Malley last week, to try to get the ball rolling and the dialogue started about bullying and about subconduct by teens who are looking for other things to do in their life. It was a really great start to a program, which leads me to the second thing that I have is that we, as a community, should be leading by example. And I want to remind everyone who might be listening to this now or later that when the sun rises on Friday morning, we are still all going to be members of this community. And the level of vitriol that has overtaken so much conversation, particularly on social media, does not set a good example for our youth. We are dangerously close to falling into the quagmire that is kind of overtaken the rest of this country. And I feel that as a community, we are better than that.
Thank you. It's well said. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
What happens on Thursday?
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Gross, seconded by Counselor Majota.
No,
Benson.
no, it's me.
All right,
I
Oh,
said it
Gilman?
very quiet. You said it much
Okay,
louder.
give
than
it
I
to
did.
Jensen.
whatever you want.
He's got it.
Grace. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm telling Grace to pick.
Now, don't